Hey yo, welcome back. So we've had a big night tonight. It feels good to sort of mix it up a little bit, do more variety streaming, and also check out many things per stream session. So I'm really I'm feeling accomplished tonight. So yeah, welcome back, welcome back. It's time for more reading the SCP Foundation Wiki. Tonight we're going to be reading entries number 81 through 90, and also a random article. It depends on how long this takes as well. We might just do only that, or we might have a little additional content. But yeah, I've found this picture just, looking up SCP memes. I cannot, for the life of me, fucking figure out what the original name of this meme is. But this is one of my favorite all-time memes. I'm pretty sure it's called The Boys, but I've even so much as seen it in like a RuneScape context, almost one-to-one. They have like some old school has some silly outfit that looks like one of the guys in The Boys picture. But anyway, yeah, it's time to read more SCP Foundation Wiki, dude. So welcome back, and I just gotta preface the stream first by saying, if you have a weak heart, or you don't want to get scared or anything, you might want to avoid this stream. At least this particular thing we're doing tonight, like I said, if you have a weak heart, if you're easily scared, this might spooky scare you, because this is creative writing at some of its best. It's combination of horror, intrigue, mystery, etc. So again, if you're scared easily, you might want to avoid the SCP Foundation stream. Not my entire Twitch channel, but yeah, and another precursor here. We always start with a random article, or at least we have a random article, and we do the sequential stuff as well. So like I said, 81 to 90 tonight. And one last thing before we get into it, I just like to keep the air fresh, spritz a little bit of music throughout the atmosphere, so we listen to music from my personally curated playlist. And anyway, let's get back into it. Enjoy. Welcome everybody new, by the way. Welcome back to the SCP object for this stream, which is I always start with a Zelda song somehow. Yeah, that's better. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna do random. What are the names of the stuff we read last time? Iron Wings, Degenerative Metamorphic Entity, The Foot on the Bed, Kane, Quantum Woodlouse, Corrosive Snail, Abel, Rot Skull, Guilt, Old AI, and Dark Form. Okay. What is this from? Every time I hear this, I'm like, this is a banger. This is Street Fighter Alpha 3, no wonder why it slaps so hard. So yeah, let's just start with a random SCP first. And then we'll move back to sequential, which is starting on 81 tonight. Spontaneous Combustion Virus. What? 011 PT? 011 PT? What? Hold on. Have we read this already? Well, here's the entire page really quick. PT? International Branches Hub. What? I'm confused. Well, let me open a new tab here and see. Is this listed in the sequential for 11? Sentient Civil War Memorial Statue. I guess not. There's an international version of this. Alright. Cool. I guess let's look at the International Branches Hub right away. Contents are currently classified. Okay. So yeah, this must be something from a different country or a different language. And yeah, it was just, we happened to get one that was still in English. Yeah, this looks like a French article, if anything, in fact. Alright, well, yeah, there's the page really quick, just in case people get jump scared or whatever. And the image says SCP-011-PT-1B. So here's the image. It looks like a typical white lotus flower sitting on what appears to be a small pond. Very colorful, bright day out, or wherever this picture is taken is just very colorful. Maybe the exposure was turned up on this image. Yeah, very high saturation of colors here. But yeah, it looks like a typical, like orchid-esque lotus. And there's some lily pads in the foreground and background. Nothing really looks anomalous here. But, you know, the Foundation, who knows what's anomalous. Yeah, just looks like typical forest reflections in the water. Nothing anomalous at all, just a flower and some lily pads. The lily pad is a very rustic green, leading into tans. Very bulbous, bubbly. Almost looks like a weird, over-buttered, like, bulbous pancake. It does appear to have some weird spines, which I can only assume are just flagellum for a lily pad. I'm not too sure how they exist. But yeah, the trim of the lily pad, presumably, if that's what it is, it's a nice bright red. If you've been watching the stream a while, you know my favorite color is red. And yeah, the foliage in the foreground, aside from the nice white flower, just looks like another lily pad, or perhaps a giant leaf from a larger leafy appendage. Alright. Item number 011-PT, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. 011-PT must be guarded and studied. Only be male personnel during its active period. During its inactive period, the research and security teams may include personnel from any gender. Exceptions to this rule must be protocoled immediately. The area where 011-PT is located has been defined as a permanent environment protection zone, taken care of by a private company serving as a facade for the Foundation. Members of the containment team of O11PT must refer to the protocols contained in the document Fleurs de Lis et Amour. Hope I pronounced that right. Fleurs de Lis, so flowers, I don't know what lis is, but et amour. Love. Lof. The location, responsible personnel, equipment, and structures associated with the creation and accommodation of hybrid instances of O11PT must be related to the current research director for recurrent investigations. Due to the nature of O11PT4, the Foundation will maintain contact with the major organizations responsible for astronomical research, officially documenting the anomaly in the event of the occurrence of these observable phenomena. Should future tests be requested, extra protocols of containment and disinformation will be developed according to the necessities. Description: O11PT is a hydric perennial extension of clear waters measuring roughly 60 meters squared measuring roughly 60 meters squared, roughly 2.5 meters, and roughly 1.2 meters of depth in its maximum and minimum points located in the Amazon rainforest. Species of Victoria amazonica can be observed over its surface. O11PT1A and O11PT1B denotes its leaves and its flowers, respectively. I feel like Basil would enjoy this stream. O11PT1A and B will not present anomalous characteristics if they are removed from O11PT, but will recover their anomalous elements in case of reintroduction to O11PT. The substances produced and/or derived from these instances are non-toxic, regardless of circumstance. So is this normally like a neurotoxic plant? The main hub flower? O11PT possesses an active period denominated O11PT2, occurring between the months of March and July. During an O11PT2 event, any female individual that rests over the frozen area created by O11PT1A will disappear by unknown means, intermittently until the end of July, thus being designated an instance of O11PT3. Individuals designated O11PT3 display several relevant elementary behavioral, emotional, and habitual inter- and intrapersonal relationships changes in roughly 92% of the cases observed after experiencing O11PT2. These changes are relevant when compared to their personality profiles previous to the event. Footnote 2. These observations and reports were performed during a period of roughly 730 days, parentheses roughly 2 years. O11PT4 is a celestial body that will appear in the immediate proximity of the terrestrial moon like a sub-satellite. An instance of this object forms itself spontaneously after individual O11PT3 experiences during... An instance of this object forms itself spontaneously after individual O11PT3 experiences during an O11PT2 event. O11PT4 is a temporary observable phenomenon that ends at the end of July, coinciding with the reappearance of O11PT3 instances. So a celestial body pokes its head out? What? Open O11PT1? Oh, this is carby music, dude. O11PT1A are visually identical to its common counterparts. Footnote 3. Alien instances of Victoria amazonica introduced in O11PT will not display anomalous characteristics. Hybrid instances of O11PT1 and non-anomalous Victoria amazonica will display anomalous characteristics in any hydric body in which they are introduced, being capable of activating O11PT2 events. So it's like a fucking ice-based flower spaceship thing? Capable of supporting 200 kilograms of weight over their surfaces. During an event O11PT2, these instances excrete a sheet of black ice, its chemical composition corresponding to the juice extracted from 1B over the water in a radius of 1.5 meters from its borders with a roughly with roughly 2 centimeters of thickness. The temperature of the substance ranges from -10 degrees Celsius to -20 degrees Celsius, suffering natural melting under environmental temperatures or external disruptions in the morning. During the night, it is self-preserved. 11PT1b are water lilies that exude a sweet fragrance and bloom only during the active period of 11PT, displaying an azure incandescence not corresponding to its natural white and/or pink pigmentation, possessing temperatures that range from 0 Celsius to -10 degrees Celsius. These instances do not attract Cyclocephala castaneda species pollinator beetles. Footnote 4. Despite not posing as a cognitive, olfactive mimetic threat, it is theorized that O11PT1b uses its aesthetics and aroma as means of luring individuals to activate O11PT2 events. Very ancient type of predatory basis. Uses natural methods. Okay, open O11PT2. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Hope you guys are enjoying so far. Just gonna keep track really quick. Yeah, we're still connected. Okay, good. Hey, thanks for stopping by and checking me out streaming tonight. During O11PT2, the specular reflection from the water's surface is notably clear and incandescent as it reflects the celestial bodies during the night, from 18 hours to 6 hours in the fuse GMT-4, being the interval in which the anomalous activities intensify. The specular effect will occur independently of the current weather conditions. So even if it's cloudy, like, the water's surface will still become clear. Interesting. Footnote 5. O11PT2 will not occur in case the specimens of O11PT1a are removed from O11PT. New specimens will naturally develop themselves in the place if O11PT1b is not removed. If both the components are removed from O11PT, they reappear in the location after a variable period of time. So the O11PT phenomena is like self-centric. Open O11PT3. Instances of O11PT3 interviewed report experiences resembling the REM state of sleep during the periods of March and July. This is like an Okami deity level shitpost here. I feel like I'm playing Okami reading this. Flower aliens come down and abduct women in their ice lotus flower ship and take them to the moon. Yep, this sounds like Okami, alright. Their descriptions can be generalized as an invigorating night of respite, with the quality presented in their evaluations being increasing exponentially to the time they experienced abducted by the anomaly. So it's a pleasant REM sleep hypnosis. After this interim, the individual will reappear resting over one of the present lily pads in O11PT, their physical state unchanged, wearing and carrying the belongings which they possessed before disappearing. Nature aliens? Open O11PT4. This one seems to be the interesting one. Despite being observable physical indicators of the existence of O11PT4 instances, excluding the approximate geographical point of their presence, cannot be asserted even though the object displays similar characteristics, like the emission of light and a chemical composition similar to a star. Invisible only, except not through the reflection? It does not possess its own gravity, nor has it an impact in a tangible manner correspondent in scale to the event of a star suddenly appearing somewhere. It could be like a quantum star, only appears in some observations. Open Addendum O11PT Alpha. Addendum O11PT Alpha, excerpt of the documentation and relevant changes after an event O11PT2. Individuals display an extraordinary increase in their perception related to their psychophysical self-image and self-esteem in a positive manner. Positive aspirations related to activities involving social relationships, an inclination for personal development, increase of empathic, romantic, affective feelings related to objects of affection, increase of empathic, romantic, affective feelings related to objects of affection, not obstinate to the gender of the individual. Increased interest in the development of a varied skill set. This is like the smart alien flower. In certain individuals exhibiting dysthymia, the pathological state is reduced drastically. What? So it overwrites part of their personality and their psyche, potentially causing damage. What is dysthymia? Dysthymia, also known as persistent depressive disorder, is a mental and behavioral disorder. Specifically a disorder primarily of mood, consisting of the same cognitive and physical problems as depression, but with longer-lasting symptoms. Sounds like me. Alright. Yeah, so it causes, like, irreparable brain damage to people with severe depression. That's sad. They don't want to change. Moreover, O11PT3 instances display memories of an event without precedents or concrete registers, acting as inveiglement for the trigger of those relevant changes. This event is reported as being something profoundly significative for the individual, manifesting itself in an artistic/ludic manner, normally in a situation related to their daily life. These memories have the following characteristics in common. Footnote 6. Use of amnestics and hypnotic therapies were incapable of eliminating or change the memories relevant to the condition of O11PT3 instances. So these are hard-coded memories, huh? Oh, I didn't show that properly. I thought it was shooting off the screen a little bit. There you go, in case you wanted to read along. Lord of Darkness from Ninja Gaiden. What a great song. Okay. These memories have the following characteristics in common. The presence of a metaphorical entity. The presence of an element that is admirable, irresistible, and/or unattainable. The presence of an ambition for establishing concrete relationships between the metaphorical entities. In certain cases, including O11PT3. The presence of an element of significant sacrifice, deliberate or forceful, in a tangible or intangible manner performed to affect the union between the relevant entities. The presence of a mediative bias for that trigger. The presence of one/many allegories. The presence of symbols such as fauna and flora related to the night, celestial bodies, and hydric bodies. This is a very metaphorical, well-written SCP. Open Addendum O11PT Beta. We have interviews too. Addendum O11PT Beta, documentation regarding relevant interviews. Holy fuck. This thing's long. What else we got here? Okay, I mean, it's not super duper long, it's just gonna take me a moment to read. This song always reminds me of Continue Show. Interviewer Dr. Martens interviewed D01121. Forward, O1121 participated in tests with O11PT 1.6 years before this interview. O1121 has been convicted for 20 years due to her participation in a cannabis traffic gang as a transporter. Man, that's stupid. Legalize it. Begin log. Dr. Martens, do you feel like you had any general or significant change in your life during these years since you've traveled to the Amazon? O1121. I don't know, Doctor. Other than reading and going to the gym, I don't know. I think I'm more tranquil in general. Since then, I've been feeling more optimistic about being imprisoned and everything else. After I comply with my sentence, I'll try to stay in line. Did I answer that right? Dr. Martens. Did you, by any chance, feel any type of inspiration, something that encouraged you with these tasks? O1121. Look, being imprisoned in here sucks, right? If you just stop, your mind kills you. I don't know, if I needed to say what made me go to the gym more, I'd say that it is because of those girls from Sector 7. 1121. I don't know what you guys put in these I don't know what you guys put in their dinners that gives them those arms bigger than my head. I'm serious, Doctor. Give me that thing too. I know I'm already great because, like, look at this butt. Although I'd accept becoming a Frankenstein to gain those massive arms. Martens. I understand. You mentioned before something about reading more. Has it been encouraged by something else? 1121. Not that I remember. It's not like I woke up one day and thought, what a beautiful day, today I'll stop being such a sucker. Me IRL. 11:21. No, wait. There has been something, yes. I don't remember when, but I started remembering quite a lot about when I had about 14, I think. I was listening to the radio in the balcony while I swept for my grandma, and then a sort of MPB music started playing from a singer with a shy voice. Musica popular brasileira. Popular Brazilian music. The music was about her trying to talk with an owl, saying that she was going to sing in every existent language until the owl responded but nothing worked. And she ends up screaming so much in sadness that she ends up without her voice. So right in the ending of the music, the little bird answers her and teaches her how to whistle, and it ends with the two whistling together. There is a verse like, "Little owl, my friend, when I saw you I fell in love. Hello, bonjour, Entschuldigung. You pretend to not see me, do not answer me, doesn't even care." I remembered these parts with foreign words in the music, and I just don't know. Felt like learning more stuff in general. Weird? It's a weird allegory. Martens, do you remember the name of the music, singer, or the radio station? 11:21. Sheesh, I wish. Every time I try to remember it, my mind goes blank. I think I've already asked everyone that I told about the music, but I don't know. Might have not stuck back then. I remember having heard it more than once. Ah, Doctor, about that thing of inspiration. I should have told about Marcella, too. Martens, Marcella? 11:21, yes. You know, Doctor, I wasn't literate when I was a child. I had to work in parents' houses since I was young. So parents became bosses, bosses became the thing with the weed, you know the deal. I just remembered, I had a weird dream that I was in Squid Game last night, but it was like underwater. It like took place in 2030 or something. I saw this thing on Reddit last night too, which probably inspired this. It was like, Sweden or some country is going to be the first with underwater cities. And I guess that inspired the dream, because we were doing Squid Game, but in like an underwater Bioshock type of shit. It was fucking weird. 11:21. I joked before saying I was a sucker, but like, I never felt lesser than anyone who had gone to school. My grandma always said that being smart comes from living, you know, sweating and learning with hardship. That's how I learned how to do things, talking and listening. I know I'm smarter than some mams that haven't been humiliated ever scrubbed the floor with a toothbrush so they wouldn't starve. But staying here and in that other sector, I met lots of people that gave the desire of becoming more realized, more open-minded. Do you know that girl sort of slender from the 4 with glasses? So she's Marcella, she's my best friend. I've known her for a year, sort of. When she arrived here, she had already gone through 10 years, but she came alone, didn't talk with other people, that kind of thing. So I saw her by herself, and I don't know, I felt like approaching, take the first step that nobody took. And like, we had a basic chit-chat, but she was at another level. She tried to talk about some books that she read because she went a lot to the library, a real lot. I always got so nervous about those philosophical things that I would start laughing. I'd say, "Fuck, Marcella, talk in my language, gal." This is reminding me of Stone Ocean. This mystical stand flowers in the middle of a prison. But like, I didn't want to get away from her, you know? I think that her life story is really touching. She went through a lot of heavy stuff during her life. Had to do some stuff for some weird people, but ended up addicted to crack and got busted. Said she was so desperate that she tried to rob a market with a fishmonger and ended up cutting off the finger of a guard. Crazy. She tries to talk with her son in Bahia. He must be like 25 years already, but he doesn't answer. Makes her very sad. I read that kind of weird. 25 years. You know that story about the fishmonger? She tells about it laughing, but when you know her for real, you can see she's very ashamed of that. I think a lot of the girls here that keep bragging about stealing that guy and killing that other guy have a hidden burden in their soul, really. That they're too ashamed to admit to God. But then, I didn't want to leave her excluded again just because we didn't understand each other, right? So one day I told her, "Fuck, gal, what if I enroll in that preparatory course that they host here? I'll understand what you say and everything." You gonna learn fucking quantum physics in prison? I was expecting her to laugh in my face, but she got really excited. Kept saying she would help me, would test everything I learned, and, you know, it was a great help. By myself, I already did a fucking lot. But she gave me a lot of moral. Managed to get my degree in 10 months. I read everything, argued complex stuff with Marcella, and the other people in the library. Since I got educated, I feel a much more realized woman, more like a warrior. This feels like me going back into college. Martens, that's great. You seem to admire Marcella a great deal. Talking like that, so it seems. Being sincere, I'm a bit reserved when it comes to expressing myself, but I tell her right at her face that she's a great fucking woman because it's true. She doesn't tell me how much longer she'll be here. I told her, gal, if I get out before, I swear to you that I'll wait for you out there. Because I want to help her talk with her boy, with her little bird in Bahia. And if it doesn't work, I'll support her in any way I can because I want to help her step up in life. Keep her clean, those things. Maybe even live together so we can keep an eye on each other, share a little apartment. I believe I owe her that, support her like she supported me. End log. Alright, that was a touching story. Alright, interviewer. As for interview B, that was interview A. Interviewer Dr. Alvarez interviewed Ms. Ramos. Forward in order to collect results regarding the effects of 3 on individuals without previous illegal activities, researchers of O11PT were authorized to announce discounts for experimental hydrotherapies as a facade company in newsletters to recruit subjects to participate willingly in experiments. So they brought civilians into the prison to expose them to this flower. Information and relevant records can be found in the document Operation Open Aqua Amazon. Okay. Begin log. Dr. Alvarez, do you feel like you've had any general or significant change in your life in the last year since you've traveled to Amazon? Is this like about the company Jeff Bezos gonna come in and say I can't take a piss break? Ms. Ramos, girl, it has been such a while. I believe my life has changed completely. You? Could you help me? Ask something more precise about my career, house, so my memories can flow better. Alvarez. Is there any point, as in any moment, that you can define as the beginning of that complete change that occurred in your life? Ramos. Let me think. It was when... No, it was before, if I think about it well enough. I believe it started when I began thinking a lot about a painting I saw in a thrift store. What the fuck? Do people do this? I don't think I can pinpoint one, object moment where something like this happened. Yeah, I was playing, Animal Crossing on my Nintendo DS. What? Alvarez. Painting? Ramos. The painting was somewhat rococo, with 2 ladies. You couldn't see their faces, but they were ladies. One of them, in front of the painting, was sideways with her face turned back. Her hand appearing in the frame, cutting her hair really short by her ear. So while she does that, another lady, she kissed the other lady in front of her as she puts her hand in the face of the first. You can't quite see the kiss, but all that pose isn't of someone kissing the cheek, at least for me. What is happening? I feel like this SCP makes people just ramble. Ramos, these ladies, they were pretty. Dark skin like me and you, but the one behind had an aura. A white light around her head like those depictions of saints. The one in front was dressed in a suit with a brilliant effect that resembled stars. Their faces didn't appear quite right, but I felt that they were smiling. Alvarez. It is a really beautiful painting, I imagine. Ramos. Yeah, I think I saw that picture when I was about 15, around there. But only these years after I traveled, I remembered how beautiful it was. A very sympathetic man told me once that good art is that which inspires you, that touches us, humans. That's what I feel for that picture. It's like it spoke to me, you know? It told me that women can do those things, that they can like each other in that way. Ramos, did you know that, Doctor? I believe there are a lot of people that don't even think about it, at least not the people I spoke with at first. Alvarez, I believe that there still exists a certain taboo about relationships of these types, sadly. Would you like to talk about these conversations with those individuals? Ramos, I can try. I don't know if you'll understand, because there are some things that give context to the whole story. At least for the particular motive for me thinking like that. And I don't know if you want to hear about that. A lot of people that I spoke with kept looking at me as if I was crazy. So I don't know if I should talk, even if you're a professional and everything else. Alvarez. You can trust I'll deal with any sensitive information in the most professional and comprehensive manner possible. Ramos. Alright then, I'll try. I was abused when I was younger, when I had about 7. My stepfather, a disgraceful man, disgusting drunk, that beat women without pity. He abused me. Never did it directly, but he touched me, doctor. He stunk. Never stopped stinking. I swear to you, I'll never forget that heinous man. He's the pure essence of Satan, but at that time, I wasn't conscious of it. I thought I had made something wrong for him to do that to me. That I was a tainted woman being punished by the Lord. Ramos. So I spoke with my mother. I told my mother I felt dirty. I don't want to see your husband again, Mother. I want to be locked. I don't want them looking at me, Mother. I'll become a nun. I'll dedicate myself to the Lord alone. Mother heard me that day, and thanks to God, she found a place for us to live in a small rented house owned by my fraternal aunt. I felt a little better then, but I still felt suffocated due to hardships. I started to sleep sitting so I wouldn't wake in the middle of my sleep with a demon inside my head. Holy fuck. Alvarez. I'm sorry that you've experienced all that. Would you like a cup of water? I would. Ramos. No, doctor, it's alright. That's my life. I learned to accept that it is my story. Just have to accept it and not let it stay on my way anymore. Alright then, so my life kept going. I was growing up in the church with others telling me I'd find a good man to take the sadness from my heart, but I felt terrorized with the prospect of marriage, with lying with a man. A year ago, I believed that I grew tired of locking that feeling inside my head. So I went to talk with the other girls from the church to know if anyone else felt cornered like that and if marrying really helped. 2 ladies that I talked with told me that, it was just like that. We accept those things for our husbands because that's right. That's a good woman. But there were 2 girls, my friends Claudette and Luana, that they told me no, that they were scared too, because they saw their mothers having a hard time and they didn't want that to them, because they wouldn't want to become housewives, but we didn't want to stray away from the Lord. I told them that I had seen a beautiful picture a long time ago with 2 women together. Wouldn't it be great if we could love Mary without needing rotten people in our life? Doctor, they kept laughing, but I was serious. They kept saying, oh, I wouldn't, Giselle, that's weird. There's no such thing as a woman with another woman. No, take a step back. I got quite angry with them laughing at me, so I went to talk with my mother during that same day. I told her about the conversation and then said, so I saw the painting and so on. So doesn't it mean it's allowed? And she answered, no, God didn't plan that for you. We'll talk with the priest. Fucking SMH, mother. I felt extreme indignation because how come? I've been told my whole life that I was loved by the Lord. I followed His word to my 22 years. And now my mother says in front of me that I wasn't doing what He planned for me. Oh no. I got the courage and told like this, Mother, I'm certain that God loves me. And that's what He wants from me. And if I'm only able to lay with women, that's His plan for my life. Look, doctor, you should have seen her face when I said that. I think it was the first that I raised my voice for her in my entire life. She screamed in tandem, if it is like that, then you can take your belongings out of this house, since I don't want my daughter mingling with women. I don't know, doctor, it suddenly made me want to challenge her, so I said, alright then, and started packing my things. Back then I thought that it was true if I wanted to mingle because I didn't even know what it meant, but I felt that I had to do that due to my love for the Lord. I had much more certainty that He wanted me to do that, to own my own life. Outside home, I quickly got employed taking care of a seniory from the church that still liked me, and she allowed me to live in her place to help. My mother spread the word that she did not have a daughter anymore and pushed me away from the church, but I still spoke with Claudette and Luana by my telephone. We tried to see each other in the weekend in the square next there. I live with Miss Celia. She allowed me to use her computer to spend the time, study something, and I search more about everything for people that liked women to make sure I was actually sure. My eyes widened with some of the things I accessed by mistake, but I knew I had the curiosity to learn about those things because of my age. This is wholesome. I commented about those things with my friends and they got a little afraid. Sometimes they said that I had to bless myself. So I answered, no, the world is like that, guys, and I think that I'm like that too. I won't lay with any men, I decided. I knew they thought it was quite weird because of those chats, but they had the same curiosity that I had. That's why they didn't stop talking with me. Anyways, one day Luanda kissed me, saying that she wanted to see if it was actually good. I didn't tell her that it was my first kiss with a woman and I felt a little afraid. She sort of stopped talking with me after, but I think she figured out that it wasn't for her. I cried a lot for days until I got the courage to join these forums that I messed around to talk. The women I found helped me a lot. This is the best glow up I've ever read on this wiki so far. They helped me learn more about life as if they were second mothers. With them, I got my license, worked in a hotel, and then in a restaurant, rented a nice house. Met personally some of the ladies in one of the bars in the city. They were from the church like me. We became friends and even made our own group for prayers. We started to dress differently, cutting our hair, wearing trousers, shorts. We had a lot of fun with the things the church said we couldn't do, but we knew that God would accept us if we were happy. So, about 3 months ago, my mother found me and wanted to apologize, so I forgave her, of course. But I didn't come back home. Now I felt free for real, you know? In the past, I think that at that moment that I left home and followed my own path with my own faith, I didn't feel I was close to the Lord. Now I felt that in the depth of my heart. Wearing men's clothes, having intimacy with women like me. I didn't want to stray away from God again, feel dirty. So I follow this path now, and I'm happy. Even if there are people that see me with crooked eyes, swearing, spitting on me, I love myself, and I know God loves me too. End lock. Well, you know what? I don't normally talk about this, but if you're confused or you don't know what to do, use this as some inspo. That's a good story. Interviewer Dr. Martens interviewed, so this is interview B, interviewed junior researcher Vieira. Vieira? Well, my tongue cannot comprehend this word. Let's say Vieira. Forward, a proposal regarding the possibility of evaluating the effects of O11PT3 in individuals with previous knowledge about the expected behavioral changes, and whether this knowledge would result in effects related to those commonly registered. Once approved, an experiment was conducted with the assistance of voluntary personnel relocated to activities not related to O11PT. Junior researcher Vieira... My brain can't comprehend this. Vieira. I'm just going to say Vieira. Junior researcher Vieira was granted access to O11PT's documentation and was observed during the period of 1 year. Begin log. Dr. Martens. LOL, dude. Nice shoe reference. Do you remember the details regarding O11PT? Junior researcher Vieira. Yes, I check the archives on a weekly basis. Martens. Do you think that O11PT could have influenced any particular decision of your life, unconsciously or consciously? Vieira. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, there was that thing about an allegory, but I don't think that it ends up being... My apologies, Martens. My apologies, but could you report that allegory specifically, for the record? Vieira. It was a mini-series about a nurse helping subversive groups during the military intervention. The plot being about them having conflicting reasons about what is right or not. Is this MASH? Is this MASH? Just accidentally pulled out the Peter voice. Is the plot relevant for something? What you want to know is if I had some type of epiphany, if I became a lesbian out of the blue, something like that, no? Martens, we want to know if you feel any significant change in your life, and if that change has been provided by O11PT. Vieira. But to what degree can we define this as something anomalous? The implementation of an artificial memory is an obvious anomaly, of course, but the influence of the memories by themselves is something that could be noticed with any type of significant event in the life of a woman, right? Or anyone, really. Very good point. This could just be like a discovery object. Not really harmful or overrighty or anything, except for those depressive people that it just fucking destroys their brain. Martens. Well, despite perceiving those tendencies as a component of the anomaly, we never affirmed that it was something anomalous by itself. You know that, as scientists, we have the obligation to cite facts that may or may not be relevant to our research. Viera, yes, I understand, but really, do you think that it can happen with anything else? Any type of memory that created an impact in your thought process? About life, love? So just take the most insignificant garbage aspect of any memory, and this flower just converts it into the most wholesome life change possible. Vera, I mean, think about your aspirations when you were a kid. Have you never met someone or watched a movie or something akin that made you think, well, I want to be, I don't know, a veterinary. Well, there are so many people that die due to cancer, I want to become a scientist so I can find the cure for it. It's the same for love, too. Like any type of inherent beauty that you had never perceived, the basis of attraction. How does someone develop a type, from blondes to brunettes to men and women? I don't know. Martens. I think I'm following your line of thought. Viera, I just believe that the effects of the anomaly are not inherent to the anomaly. Maybe they aren't even inherent of something significant by itself. I believe that all women, including me and you, possess the capability of becoming happy and ambitious, loving one another. It doesn't need to be something exclusive nor lesbian with all the letters, but prioritizing the women in your life in general. It's not something really thought about by the majority of people. This is also a glow up. I like this one, even though it's kind of long. It's very interesting. Vera, maybe the real effect of this skip isn't implanting ideas nor influencing, but suggesting them. I believe that the capability to love was already inside us all this time, but we just followed what was suggested by our own volition. And you know, even with all the hardships and sadness in our lives, our particular relationships, we're happier that way. Martens. It is something interesting to think about, although, don't you think that assuming something like that, so personal and subjective, to women as a whole, is something too passionate? Who is Dr. Martens? Why are you so one-sided in your beliefs? I know you're a scientist, but come on, bro. Vera, maybe, but I am full of passion, Martens. I am sure that all the other women would be if they experienced that type of love and love. Report of discovery and recovery, the Foundation became aware of the existence of the anomalous activity caused by the object in the region because of incidents involving tourists disappearing between the months of March and July after interacting with a lake full of lily pads that created ice and had fluorescent lilies during the night. O11 PT has been documented for the first time in 18 double blank, dating the epoch of annexation of the province of Amazon by the Brazil Empire government. During the capital exploration, individuals found the relevant body of water, noticing its extraordinary characteristics, thus leading the Royal Conservatory of Paranormal Sciences to assume the research operations in the zone. That's right, I forgot this took place in the Amazon. I just thought Amazon was a silly company reference for this. It's not a jail, although we did have some prisoners for this. Footnote 8, the readings of these documents led us to believe that the comprehension of this object by the organization in question has not been expanded, leading to the abandonment of all these studies. Well, that was interesting. Aquatic, co-authored, Euclid, International, location, memory affecting, mind affecting plant. Very cool. I liked it. Being a man, I guess I can't really comment on this too much, but it's very interesting. Alright, let's move on to 81. Here's the page for 81. Nice, short, sweet one. Okay. Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys and girls and theys. I don't mean any offense by that, I'm just being stupid. Item number 081, Object Class Euclid. Special containment procedures. Only those with level 4 clearance and written permission from blank may have access to 81. Full hazard gear including suit, gloves, and an oxygen tank must be worn at all times when in the containment area. Suits must be sprayed with a disinfectant shower before leaving the containment area. If containment is breached, the entire area must be exposed to ultraviolet light and then bleached. Those who are suspected of being infected must be quarantined for at least 10 parentheses 10 days. If no symptoms manifest after the 10th day, then quarantine can be lifted. Description: 81 is a contagious virus that appears to be a mutated version of the blank virus, but with single blank segments in its RNA instead of single blank. The virus is human-specific, but is spread by rats who act as passive carriers. 81 can also be spread through sexual intercourse and exposure to infected blood. 81 infects adipocytes and leukocytes, including both to absorb nutrients at a vastly accelerated rate. As the nutrients are absorbed, infected B cells produce and secrete large quantities of a modified human antibody. Adipocytes expand and proliferate, and the organism's caloric intake increases. When the concentration of adipose tissue reaches a critical point, the viral antibodies instigate systemic cell lysis, followed by an unknown process leading to the spontaneous combustion of the infected individual. Explosion virus. There's 1 week incubation period before the initial symptoms begin to occur. The duration of the symptoms depends entirely on the body fat percentage of the infected. Infection proceeds through 4 distinct stages. Stage 1. During the first week, there are no major symptoms, though subjects may report being slightly tired. Stage 2. In the second week of infection, subjects will begin to experience hot flashes and an increased appetite. Stage 3. Infected subjects demonstrate extreme polyphagia. They will do anything in their power to obtain food or anything edible. During this stage, metabolism slows down significantly and weight gain proceeds rapidly. There's no set time that will elapse before the 4th and final stage. In order for the virus to complete its life cycle, the victim must be composed of 55% body fat. This fucking virus smart bomb. Stage 4. Once the subject reaches 55% body fat, the urge to eat will drop. Those subjects report increased instances of hot flashes. Soon afterward, the body will go through an extremely violent version of widespread cell lysis. As cells burst, the modified antibodies catalyze the ignition of fatty compounds through unknown means. Is this a Naruto reference? This makes me think of the Art Akatsuki dude. Life, true art is an explosion! Deidara, that's his name. The body is incinerated from the inside out via the Wick effect, with the additional fat serving as a fuel source. Because stage 4 is largely asymptomatic, subjects are never aware that when combustion will occur, and the exact timing is apparently random. Addendum 81-1. The first recorded incident of 81 was reported in 1763 by Frenchman Jonas Dupont. In his book De Incendis Corporis Humani Spontaneous, he wrote about a case in Paris where a man was acquitted of killing his wife as the injury agreed. He wrote about a case in Paris where a man was acquitted of killing his wife, as the jury agreed that the wife died due to spontaneous human combustion. It should be noted that the woman was incredibly overweight at the time of her death. It was not until the death of Mary Reeser on July 2, 1951, that 81 was brought to the Foundation's attention. Not attention. Despite the Foundation's best efforts, this information was leaked to the national media along with pictures of the incident. It is believed that most reported cases of spontaneous human combustion are caused by 81. Interesting way of explaining that, because pretty sure science doesn't know too well how spontaneous combustion works. Like, it's related to gas, meaning farts, lol. Aside from that, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to comment on it. Addendum 81-2. 81 is estimated to have existed since 9 double blank, so 900 something, and thought to have originated in blank. Because of widespread poverty and malnutrition present in many European countries at the time, instances of 3rd and 4th stage infections were rare. North America has experienced the most cases of 81 in the last century, but because of cleaner conditions and active rat population control, 81 cases have dropped significantly. Fewer than triple blank people die a year Fewer than triple blank people a year die from late stage 81. Addendum 81.3. Due to the United States' current obesity epidemic, it is crucial that Wild 81 be eradicated. The exposure that would result from a wide-scale epidemic would be disastrous to successful containment efforts. Dr. Blank. Addendum 81.4. During testing, it has been discovered that people who have diabetes have a natural immunity to 81. Huh. This has not helped in the development of a treatment for the virus, and it remains incurable. Wild infections data expunged, and an alternate cause of death provided. Maybe they gave someone diabetes? Or I don't know, someone who had diabetes markers was infected with this and then died a different way as the diabetes showed signs? Addendum 81.5. It was discovered by Agent Blank that 81 can spread by exposure to the ashes of a deceased victim. That's fucked. So it's an extremophile virus. Containment and epidemic contingency protocols are being amended, and emergency services personnel who responded to Ms. Blank's call have been detained for evaluation. Dr. Blank. Euclid fire mind-affecting uncontained virus. Well, there's your explanation for spontaneous combustion, I guess. Wikipedia? But Witch Talk goes over there. Alright, here's 82. More Kirby music, man. We're getting it all night tonight. Item number 82, Object Class Euclid. Special containment procedures. Just gonna take a drink really quick. Enlarged living quarters located at Armed Biocontainment Area 14 have been appropriated for the suppression and appeasement of 82. While standard weapons have little effect in policing 82, cooperation is easily attained through a charade. Or a charade. Subject is currently under the impression that it has been made King of France, and that its containment area is actually a grand palace designed for its protection. All interacting personnel are to be made aware of this charade and are ordered to follow the rules. Follow the rules. Housekeeping personnel are to be D-class personnel only. Guards tasked with the containment of 82 are to be given level 2 clearance, but are instructed to refrain from interacting directly with 82. Description: 82 is genetically human. However, through some process, either chemical, hormonal, cancerous, or supernatural, 82 has grown to giant proportions. Approximately 2.4 meters tall, parentheses around 8 feet, and weighing over 310 kilograms, parentheses about 700 pounds. 82's physical characteristics are grossly disproportional. It has a slightly pointed, balding head, a large rounded chin and jaw, a bulbous nose, and dark sunken eyes. Will we catch like the BFG, the big friendly giant? Subject is both overweight and possesses a great amount of muscle mass. Forearms are muscular and dangerous with a circumference of about 71 centimeters, parentheses about 28 inches. The breadth of the subject's fist is nearly 30 centimeters along the knuckles, parentheses almost 12 inches. Though feet are large, they are small in proportion to subject's body. Men size 14 US, wow, damn, for how big he is, he's got tiny feet. Subject's skin is tan dark and overall physical appearance is compounded by numerous scars, the result of years of attempts at suppression and containment. Most x-rays have been difficult to interpret because of the high density of its muscle tissue, but scans have revealed countless bullets and even several knife and sword blades lodged in 82's flesh. That ain't surprising. 82 refers to itself as Fernand and speaks fluent French and heavily accented English. When it speaks, as it does so through enormous clenched teeth. 82 only parts teeth to eat food and to sing. Subject will sing songs of its own pleasing, ranging from forgotten Victorian-era bar songs to modern classical, typically while cooking and eating. We need to get that dude who remembers everything with photographic memory to go listen to this guy sing. Remember his forgotten songs. Got more Phantasy Star music. 82 does not comb the hair on the sides of its head, but does cut it, and shaves with a large butcher knife originally provided for food preparation. We actually just got Jack and the Beanstalk giant here. It should be noted that even facial hair is exaggerated, a single strand being as thick as a millimeter, similar in thickness and appearance to graphite of a mechanical pencil. Well, fuck that. Gets stabbed by his beard fibers. Occasionally, 82 will clench its teeth so hard that the gums bleed, but it is not known why. This is considered normal. Probably just focusing. The demeanor of 82 is very amicable and carefree. 82 has accrued a wide wardrobe over its time of incarceration, and it enjoys dressing up in many different fashions, including formal wear, military uniform, as a clown, and in women's clothing. New pieces should be made available upon request. Subject often attempts to joke, and is usually polite to personnel, often inviting them to dinner. However, visiting personnel should be aware that at any moment, 82 is capable of attacking and voraciously eating others. Subject will often apologize for its lack of manners for interrupting someone's conversation by devouring their head and making a mess of his quarters. He's a wild man. 82's jaw is strong enough to crack bone. But yeah, we saw that gif or that video the other day of a real tooth being hydraulic pressed, and it was like, what, 300 kilograms or something and 700 pounds of force until it cracked? Teeth are strong, especially giant's teeth. 82's jaw is strong enough to crack bone, and it seems to enjoy skulls. Attacks are seemingly at random with no motivation. Whether or not subject has recently eaten has no effect on this cannibalistic hunger. 82 is incapable of differentiating fact from fiction when he reads it or watches television/films. So this is just a prototypical ancient giant that has probably like part of his frontal lobe missing. He never developed that separation, so he sees fiction as like God consciousness or something, I don't know. On several occasions, 82 has expressed a great desire to meet his favorite person, Hannibal Lecter, and subject will believe that all television programming is some form of reality television. Though subject has shown heightened intelligence in the form of memory and puzzle solving, the concepts of parody, satire, and fiction are beyond its understanding. Yeah, this is a proto-evolution of human, definitely. 82 apparently understands the concepts of lying, apparently understands the concept of lying, has shown to know when others are blatantly lying, and generally tells obvious falsehoods when asked about its past. So it has like the mind of a child, but he's kind of like a genius too. Dumb genius. According to 82, he is dot a vampire, dot a homunculus, dot Big Bird, dot Andre the Giant, dot Napoleon, dot Obelix, sidekick of Asterix. Not many people know of this, but I actually grew up with this show. This is like late 80s cartoons, and yet somehow I watched it. 82 claims he is Dr. Bright, dot the Hulk, dot Alexander the Great, dot Captain Hook, dot Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Frankenstein, and Dr. Frankenstein's monster. What? When questioned about these lies, he gives the excuse, but I only lie when it's through my teeth. What? I'm gonna check this giant for brain damage, dude. Obelix from Asterix and Obelix. I think this is the first result if I look this up. Hold on. Obelix. Yeah! This is fucking fire, dude. I mean, this dude is a giant. Obelix is a cartoon character in the French comic book series Asterix. Oh, I didn't know this was French. Works as a menhir sculptor and deliveryman, and is Asterix's best friend. Obelix is noted for his fatness, the menhirs he carries around on his back, and his superhuman strength. What is that, like a giant rock? Is that what a menhir is? Alright. Live, carnivorous, humanoid, sapient, sentient. Sapient is kinda, I don't know about that one. Can't differentiate fiction. That's kinda weird. Alright, number 83. We're kind of breezing on through these now, huh? Item number 83, Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. 83 is to be kept under constant video surveillance, with at least one Level 3 staff member on call at all times to respond to security breaches. Entrance to 83 is permissible to Level 1 and 2 personnel with proper clearances, provided they wear a tracking device while inside. But, by the way, I keep meaning to mention this, we had a forward reference to 85, so we're gonna get some story context going backwards once we get to 85 tonight. Anyway, description: 83 appears to be an uninhabited 2-story row house in a general state of disrepair, with an interior of approximately 366 square meters. It is located in the blank block of blank. The deed and property tax records for the address are missing after blank. The last known persons to reside at the address were the blank family, but data expunged. Until acquisition by the Foundation, the property was the reputed office for local narcotics dealers who gained entry to the structure through a front window, since the locking mechanisms on both the front and back doors were corroded and frozen shut. 83 first came to the Foundation's attention on blank when an altercation outside the building resulted in the front door being kicked in by data expunged. I think I might remember this one. I have read it. But I seem to remember this one feels like a reference, again, to Doctor Who. 76 Totter's Yard. I think this is one of the scrapyards. Not sure. Those who entered through the door of 83, Group A, allegedly found themselves inside a fully furnished and well-maintained home with functioning electricity and a fully stocked kitchen whose appliances and decor appeared to be from the early 20th century. Personnel who entered through the windows, Group B, described the interior as dark and dilapidated, corresponding to the view through the windows. Personnel in Group A also reported that they couldn't see, hear, or find any members of Group B inside the house or of anyone else besides themselves. Group B observed that members of Group A seemed to vanish into thin air upon crossing the door's threshold. Very weird. It's like a spatial paradox. Both groups inside the property not only described very different living conditions, but their descriptions didn't even correspond to the same floor plan, so it is extra-dimensional as well. The descriptions matched only in the relative position of the windows, since both groups saw the same street view. Personnel outside the house, however, only reported seeing members of Group B. Interesting distinction. These observations were repeatedly tested and confirmed by staff, with the additional finding that the rear door of 83 also leads to the furnished interior. Any non-conventional entry, i.e. windows, holes in the roof, down the chimney, etc., leads to the dilapidated interior, and persons inside the different interiors are unable to detect each other's presence, although they both register on standard spectral imaging equipment, so long as said equipment is outside 83. So they cohabitate the same space, but exist on different layers. Very interesting. It was also discovered that the furnished interior is not static. The floor plan of 83 apparently changes, with a different layout and different numbers and kinds of rooms manifesting. See document number 83A. No clear pattern or set interval has been observed in the rearrangement of the interior of 83, but the phenomenon has never been directly observed or experienced by personnel while inside 83. See summary of experiment 8303, listed as document 83C. So long as a human presence exists inside, the floor plan seems to remain stable. Although the furnished interior appears to be well maintained, no inhabitants or custodians have ever been detected. It's a TARDIS, dude. Like I said in the first episode of reading the SCP Wiki, SCP Wiki, it's a TARDIS, dude. Addendum, it has been recommended that 83 be evaluated as a possible autonomous object. Alright. Document number 83A. 19 walkthroughs of 83 have been conducted to date, blank, and each has produced a unique floor plan with a combined total of 154 different rooms, with 17 of those rooms present on more than one walkthrough, though in differing locations. See document number 83B. The rooms conform to a variety of decorative styles, representative of major artistic trends of the late 19th and 20th centuries, complete with era-appropriate furnishings and technology. It's a TARDIS. However, each of the 19 floor plans still equal 366 square meters of space, and in each walkthrough, the front door has so far consistently led directly to the same Victorian front parlor, designated FP0, the rear door data expunged. It's a TARDIS. I won't stop myself, dude, it's true. Addendum 83A. Upon comparative analysis of all recorded floor plans of 83, it has been observed that the small door in the north wall of FP0 always opens up to reveal a closet. Though the dimensions and contents of the closet have varied considerably, a teal and white, deluxe convertible upright Hoover vacuum cleaner has been observed among the contents over 60% of the time. You need that Hoover vacuum cleaner, huh? It is unknown why, of the 3 doors leading from FP0, this one, and the Hoover vacuum within, has shown such a high level of conservation when none of the others have. It has some consistency then. Some logic. It's not like the Insanity Universe cube. I can't wait to get to that though. I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know which item number that is, but that is one of my all-time favorites. I only recently discovered it. Now, let me look that up really quick. I forget what number this is. It might have changed numbers since the last time I saw it. Hopefully I'll find this, because I'd love to read this one tonight. Oh, I forgot to put in SCP Wiki, lol. Is it 184? This one is really fucking good. When I say this is one of my all-time favorites, I am not lying. Come on. The image is not loading. Bro. It's kind of a short one, too. High power electromagnet... Is it 3008? Can't be 3008. Schwarzschild radius? Nice. That fits this one. Hold on, we'll get back to reading sequential in just a minute. I just really want to find this. Nope, not this. I don't think it's this. It must be 184, hold on. This is Dark 2 from Phantasy Star Online 1 and 2. God, I love this soundtrack. Is it 184? Oh yeah, I think it is. It's called The Architect. Alright, we'll check that one out soon enough. We just dupe this tab and set that one up. 184. Actually around 100 away. Nice. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the image for the VOD for this one. I just love that one so much. Again, TARDIS Doctor Who reference. Also, it just gets nuts. I think it references one of the original 001 entries as well. Anyway. Document number 083C, summary of experiment 08303. On blank, Dr. Blank Blank entered 83 through the front door and set up 3 digital video cameras. One was placed in the middle of FP0, the front parlor, a second camera on the second floor between DR2 and K4, and a third camera in the basement room ST1. So testing if observation keeps anchored points in this extra-dimensional zone. Did I read that? One was placed in the middle of FP0, second camera on the second floor between DR2 and K4, and a third camera in the basement room ST1. Personnel entering through FP0 window A were unable to confirm the existence of any of the rooms, nor of the 3 cameras, though the camera's locations inside 83 were externally confirmed with EM sensors. So again, whatever this anomaly is, it has some sense of logic. Observation was conducted for a period of 48 hours, during which time no personnel... Wait. Okay, I'm reading the right ones. During which time no personnel were allowed to enter. No movements within 83 or any of the rooms were observed, and the camera locations remained fixed. After 48 hours, agents were sent in to retrieve the 3 cameras, but only found one, the camera in FP0, at its electronically confirmed location. The other 2 cameras in the rooms in which they were placed were gone, with different rooms in their place. Despite this, the EM sensors continued to detect the electrical signatures of the other 2 cameras, indicating that they had not shifted position at all. Yeah, some Time Lord left their broken TARDIS for the Foundation to find. Sweeps of 83 were made hourly for the next 36 hours, and although further room rearrangements were noted, neither of the rigged rooms reappeared, and after 36 hours the signals diminished below detection thresholds, possibly due to the loss of battery power in the 2 missing cameras. 3 weeks later, ST-1 recurred on the 2nd floor and its camera was recovered with a dead battery. The 3rd camera remains missing. I was gonna say in before they show up in like the closet, but I guess not. I can't make enough TARDIS references. Again, this is just some more Phantasy Star Episode 1 and 2 music. I just love this so much. So atmospheric. This is Forest N. One of the first tracks you hear in the game, and it's one of the best. Note on number 83C memo, Dr. Blank Blank requested and was granted permission to repeat experiment 8303, cataloged as experiment 8305, which resulted in the similar inexplicable loss of 6 more cameras. While the Foundation is committed to the pursuit of scientific discovery, it has been decided to abandon further experimentation of this type on 83, until a way can be found to do it without overdrafting the department's budget in order to replace disappeared equipment. I mean, how expensive of cameras are you gonna fucking use for this? Dr. Blank Blank. Document number 83D on blank, Agent Blank conducted a walkthrough of 83 and reported evidence of food preparation, describing a sound like banging pots and pans, and the smell of cooking meat. Agent Blank was unable to localize the source of the phenomena, nor even to find a kitchen. Agent Blank did eventually encounter a dining room, designated DR8, but it was clearly in a state of non-use. Agent Blank estimated the sounds and smell persisted for approximately 20 minutes before fading away. There were no other signs of intruders. Document number 83E. On Blank, smoke was observed emanating from 83's chimney. Agent Blank was dispatched to investigate and found the location designated SR-12 with burning embers in the fireplace. It's probably just homeless dudes living here, lol dude. SR-12 had been previously documented on 83 internal surveys 5 and 6, but in both prior encounters the fireplace was cold and swept clean. Agent Blank recovered a partially burned fragment of newsprint from the fireplace data expunged, as well as the nub of a blank cigar. A sweep of 83 found no other evidence of intruders, and review of video surveillance confirmed no one else entering or leaving the house, aside from appropriate personnel at expected intervals. It's just the TARDIS trying to make you feel comfy, bro. Agent Blank remained on site until the fire was out, at which point smoke emanation ceased and did not recur. Agent Blank made no alterations to SR-12 and left the premises at blank. Quadruple blank, that's probably a time. 24 hours later, Agent Blank returned to 83, but SR-12 was no longer present and has not been found on 3 subsequent walkthroughs. So it seems like if something is happening, it might show up. Otherwise, it's like pure fucking random logic if a room shows up. Aside from, the static rooms. Front parlor and closet, and I guess the kitchen? Analysis of the blank cigar did not produce any DNA but did yield data expunged. Addendum, recommend 83 be evaluated for upgrade to Euclid status. Approved double blank, quadruple blank. Building Euclid extra dimensional portal, Spacetime. Very cool, very math. Only seems dangerous if you send your boys in and just leave them in there. But it doesn't seem hostile to life. Interesting. Alright, here's 84. Just gonna take another drink really quick. I remember the first time I heard this song, I was like, God damn, this game has so much atmosphere. Dude, I was in for a shock. There's way more atmosphere than even just that. Alright. Item number 84, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures 84 is currently under a full non-interaction order until the full extent of the emission waves has been evaluated. For detailed documentation on general F&I orders, see document XRG 1182. For detailed documentation... I keep doing that. Documentation. For detailed documentation on F&I orders in relation to 84, see document XRG 1208A. A continuous surveillance watch is to be maintained around the active area of 84, with the primary objective of civilian misdirection and external surveillance. With no major roads, trails, or other travel routes nearby, any civilians encountered approaching 84 are to be deemed suspect and detained for evaluation. Under no circumstances are any Foundation or civilian personnel allowed into the active area of 84, except with express vocal and written permission of no fewer than 2 members of O5 Command. Sentries are to maintain their posted position with line-of-sight contact checks on fellow sentries in conjunction with compass and landmark checking. A reference point should be well outside the active area of 84. Should any sentry fail to report in via vocal roll call, full recall orders will be issued to all sentries, and containment will be re-evaluated by special response teams. So high security, huh? In the event of active area fluctuation, full recall orders are to be assumed by all active sentries, followed by appropriate action. No form of radio, GPS, television, cell phone, video camera, still picture camera, or any other recording or electronic media devices are permitted within 100 meters of the active area around 84. Civilians found with such devices within this area are to have said devices confiscated and destroyed immediately. Any recordings collected, data expunged. I'm glad the Foundation, at least at this time period, which 84 is not too deep in the timeline, I would assume, at least they're not just like killing civilians because they did wrong. They didn't know, dude. They recorded like information cognito hazard SCP. They're sorry, bro. Go ahead, break their iPhone XR. It's for their own good. Description 84 appears to be a large radio tower positioned in the center of a large open field with 2 small outbuildings. Direct observation and sample collection from 84 is impossible due to the effect that is emitted around/from 84. 84 appears to emit a form of wave or radiation that has a detrimental effect on local space-time/reality. Okay. Science Tower. Externally, the active area forms a rough dome shape of 200 meters in diameter. 84 appears inside this area at random points, appearing to jump at random times. Sometimes even appearing in multiple locations at once inside the active area. Internally, the space appears to be unlimited, with 84 at the center. So this is like a quantum anomaly, huh? This links to SCP-2675. So here's the entire page really quick. The fuck? Is that an airship? Alright. So it's like a scatter plot quantum distribution of where this object could be located. Just as long as it's within the certain expected range, it will show up. Maybe even multiple times. It warps reality, what more can you expect? 84 is impossible to reach due to the emitted effect. Attempts to approach 84 within the active area return the observation that 84 retains its relative position on the horizon even after 3 months and 12 days of dedicated direct travel by both vehicle and on foot. Damn, bro, they wasted 3 months on this? Well, yeah, if it's a quantum space-time anomaly, good luck. You might get to it in 5 seconds and might take you 50 years and trap you in it. Termination tests have proved impossible, as no means of destruction are capable of physically reaching 84, even when entered from outside the active area. Local space will also distort periodically. This will cause relative distances to randomly extend or contract in a flicker, causing buildings or objects to suddenly jump thousands of meters away or rush up to other points, sometimes even causing overlaps. These overlaps have a markedly detrimental effect on living tissue. You want to get your atoms torn apart, bro? Just go to the tower. This also kind of feels like a JoJo reference. The town of blank blank is assumed to have been situated in or around the original manifestation of the active area. This town is no longer observable from outside the active area, appearing only once inside the active area. Yeah, it's Morio. Too many stand users, it became a quantum anomaly. Blank blank has maintained the same population, 343 humans, for the duration of its encapsulation. Births appear to be impossible, along with normal aging patterns. Hold up. Is this the time bubble city where they just eternally war with each other? Except, like, their equipment and means of killing each other is randomized every time? So they'll have, like, one year it'll be, like, Civil War era shit. The next year it'll be like they have fucking laser weapons. For the duration of its encapsulation, births appear to be impossible along with normal aging patterns. Suicide and/or homicide appear to be circumvented by the area of effect, with dead subjects flickering and appearing alive and unharmed several seconds after death. There are also reports of events rewinding, causing things like mortal wounds to visibly freeze and close. Subjects appear to exhibit many events of inconsistent spacetime, as do many structures. For detailed observations, see log 84A4. Electronic devices and recording equipment do not function correctly in or around the active area. Subjects report bizarre, unsettling transmissions from video and audio recording and playback devices. This acts to totally isolate blank blank from the outside world, precluding any need for Foundation-enacted containment. It also appears impossible to leave the active area after a random period of time. One subject from blank blank, found on the grass plain, see log 84A4, reported he had been traveling for 6 years. He was found approximately 400 meters from blank blank city limits. So either this motherfucker's been going in circles for 6 years, or this is some weird quantum anomaly. So log 84A4, record of observed anomalous events relating to 84. This is Euclid radioactive spacetime structure. Here's the page. It's kind of short. For a supplementary article, let's check it out. Record of observed anomalous events relating to 84. Log 84A4. Detailed observation made of the grass plain, making up the majority of the active area. The plain appears to be made of 110 (10 meter by 10 (10 meter) section of grass, repeated endlessly to make up the plane. What? We got, like, grass chunks? Has reality fucking broken? Are we in the... not the back rooms, are we in the outer lands, the far lands, or whatever Minecraft calls it? Sections appear to be randomly rotated as they are formed, causing sections of grass and small ground variations to line up incorrectly. Yeah, reality's broken, dude. Few non-human organisms appear to exist within the active area. Those outside the active area avoid it and appear to vanish shortly after entering. This is like fucking quantum RPG boss zone. This is where you get stuck in the lost woods. Animals observed inside the active area appear normal, but behave strangely. Shuddering movements, sudden shivering, repetitive loops, and other abnormal actions appear to indicate these may not be actual animals. It's like a spawner. You find the bunny spawner. Most animals appear to flicker and vanish after 3 to 4 hours. They don't have enough hume level to survive. To bring back a previous Foundation reference. Vocal communication is difficult within the active area. Vocal communication appears normal within 5 meters of the speaking subject, with reports of a slightly muffled quality reported commonly. Outside of 5 meters, subjects appear to be speaking from a great distance, with a great deal of echoing. Reports of speech being heard several seconds after the subject has stopped speaking, and speech occurring with no subject speaking are also not uncommon. Yeah, it's IRL lag. Broke the chunk spawning logic. Now we're stuck in the Outer Lands. Nice. Maybe we can get some good endgame loot to spawn back here in this glitch zone. Get some SCP objects back here. Detailed observation of the radio tower is impossible due to the inability to physically reach it, and the effect of the broadcast on most observational equipment. Basic telescope or binocular systems show the tower to be hazy and static fogged, while more advanced equipment is subject to the anomalous broadcast effect. Huh. Resistant even to normal media. Weather patterns as well as basic day-night cycles appear to be totally random. Overhead sky will randomly cycle between day, night, clear, and other weather patterns. Relative sun and cloud position appear random as well, with frequent flickering and blurring between different states. That's kinda cool. I wanna go to this place, even though I'll get lost and fucking die. Physical alteration or damage to anything within the active area is impossible. Actions such as digging, demolition, and new constructions will suddenly blur and be reset to their previous unaltered state at random points. Subjects inside a reset structure, such as inside a hole, will become instantly trapped and fused. Yeah, that's fucked. Humans in the active area around 84 exhibit some of the more striking and easily observed reality distortion effects. These include sudden blurring of limbs or head, appearing to suddenly gyrate at violently high speed for several seconds before ending. Subjects experience no pain and are often unaware of this phenomenon. Yeah, we got the, cartridge tilt N64 Evangelion GoldenEye reference meme. Get down. Looping, typically manifested as the repeating of 8 to 20 seconds of time. Subjects will go through an action, example exiting a doorway, picking up an article of clothing, then suddenly freeze and flicker, then return to the original starting position of the loop, and repeat the action, even if this involves a sudden teleportation of significant distance. Rarely, subjects appear to become caught in a permanent loop. I see! So this is what happened to, what the fuck is his name? Not King Crimson. That's what happened to the JoJo Part 4 antagonist. Observation and interrogation of subjects in blank blank show that basic human needs such as food, water, and sleep are no longer required after prolonged exposure to the active area. Some subjects report not having eaten or drank for, they believe, 5 years. One elderly subject also reports having made 2,110 (2110) unsuccessful suicide attempts. God fucking damn. You can't even naturally expire in this quantum reality. Subjects will sometimes be able to pass through solid matter without incident. These periods appear to last for random periods of time, and begin and end without warning. Subjects inside solid matter when the period ends will become trapped or fused until the period resumes. One subject reports being trapped below the waist in a wall for 2 years. What the fuck? Extreme psychological distress is observed after long-term exposure. The transmission's data expunge barrier, which is compromised over long-term exposure. The transmission's blood-brain barrier erode the blood-brain barrier. Subjects in advanced reception states typically reset after several months. What the fuck? The longer you're in here, the more fucked you are, I guess. Recorded transmissions show a slight data expunge cycles overall. Attempting to catalog and record these broadcasts has therefore been remanded to autonomous systems to preclude any additional loss of Foundation personnel. Supplement. Alright. Well, that was the supplemental for this. Dude, I gotta go pee, so hold on. We're gonna click ahead to 84, which again, we're having a backward reference now with this one. We needed to come back to this one at some point. Yeah, just give me a second, enjoy this music. I just gotta take a tinkle real quick. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. Alright, here's the image for 85. This is 8503.png. It just appears to be a typical sketch. Maybe by like a... If I had to take a guess, latest would probably be, or earliest would probably be like 1900s era. This does look a little bit like Roald Dahl though. Depicts a woman, somewhat hunched over, sitting on some object, or maybe just doing a crunch? I don't know. Yeah, she appears to be sitting on some object. She's wearing what appears to be a long white dress. Her hair is in a ponytail, presumably blonde or brunette hair. Can't really make out too much of a facial expression, but it does appear she's frowning to an extent. And she has her arms crossed. Can't tell if she's wearing shoes or that's bare feet. But yeah, very basic image. Not much going on here. The caption for the image says static reproduction of 85. Did we scroll this entire article? I don't remember. I don't think so. Alright. Item number 85, object class safe. Special containment procedures. Revised on double blank, quadruple blank. 85 is to be contained in a single chalk white bond drawing pad in a secure containment facility. Supervised contact with 85 is unrestricted to all personnel with level 2 access. All personnel coming into contact with 85 are subject to searches and random psych analysis upon entering or leaving the containment area. Absolutely no paper or canvas media are allowed to exit 85's containment room. Any paper trash must be disposed of by incineration after careful inspection. Paper and art supplies are to be brought in only by authorized personnel. In case of fire, flames are to be smothered using a rapid atmospheric replacement and CO2 dumping system. Personnel are to be advised to quickly secure an oxygen mask and tank from the wall at the first sign of smoke or fire to prevent asphyxiation, as this procedure cannot be halted until all fires are suppressed. Description 85 is the result of an experiment conducted between 67 and 914. So yeah, we had this reference before. Using 67, test subject 1101F drew a single female figure about 15 centimeters (6 inches) in height and 3.8 centimeters (1.5 inches) wide, in summer dress with long hair pulled back into a ponytail, with the name Cassandra written underneath. Dr. Expunged proposed using 914 in various settings on images created by 067. Using the fine setting, the Cassandra sketch was transmuted into her present form, a sentient black and white animated young woman drawn in clean strokes. Further attempts to duplicate this result have been unsuccessful. Weird, but okay. 85 prefers to be called Cassie. She is completely sentient and, as of double blank, quadruple blank, aware of her 2D form and her limitations in a 3-dimensional world. Weird? Although her voice is inaudible, she has learned to communicate with SCP Foundation personnel through sign language and writing. 85 may be communicated with by writing text on the paper she exists on. Personnel report that she is amicable and motivated, albeit lonely. My drawings are real, bro, I promise. 85 can interact with any drawn object on the same page as if it were real. For example, she is able to wear drawn clothing, drive sketched cars, and drink painted beverages. Except for animals and people, any drawn object becomes animated when in contact with 85, but immediately ceases and holds position once out of contact. This is a chalk zone. Artwork initially depicted as in motion, such as ocean waves, and swaying trees animate to an equilibrium state and stay at rest until acted upon by 85. 85 has also demonstrated the ability to transfer from one sheet or image to another, as long as the two are flush. In the event 85 enters a picture that does not support drawn objects, such as a repeating pattern, the picture is converted to a background image. Nice. 85 perceives the picture as an endless plane of the image drawn upon it. I guess that's science for you. You communicate with the drawing and it tells you something about the physics it exists in, I guess. At the present time, 85 can only exist upon paper or canvas surfaces. 85 cannot transfer onto photos, cardboard, glass, or parchment. When entering other pieces of art, 85 takes on the artistic style of her new environment, whether it be a comic book, an oil painting, watercolor, or charcoal sketching. Note in comic form, her voice is visible as thought, and voice bubbles around her head in typical comic fashion. As she moves between panels, the perspective and her relative size are altered appropriately. That's cool. Document number 85-1, Introduction to several prints authored by MC Escher. Nice. Researcher, Cassandra. This is known as Ascending and Descending. What do you think? At this point, 85 walks a few times around the staircase. 85. It's pretty, I guess. Would make a neat exercise track. Researcher, you see nothing inconsistent with the staircase? 85. No, as far as I can tell, it just loops around down up all the time. Why don't more staircases do that? It's pretty neat. So, like, the lack of gravity does not upset her. Weird. After the session, 85 requested several impossible objects in her own environment. These requests are pending 05 review. Give her a wrong impossible object, she'll fucking escape the paper like on the ISS. Yeah, you probably don't want to do that. Document 85-2, Incident 85A. Prior to double blank, quadruple blank, 85 was unaware of its status as a 2-dimensional object in a 3-dimensional world. Prior security protocols required that 85 be kept unaware of its true nature in order to prevent psychological distress. Discrepancies with the perceived real world were presented as dreams or nightmares, and an effort was made to present 85 with a scenario in which it was the last surviving human in a post-apocalyptic world searching for survivors. What the fuck? What are you doing, Foundation? I don't know how to feel about this. This is weird. The deception was quickly broken following an incident where an SCP Foundation researcher accidentally brought a hard copy of 85's Special Containment Procedures report into the containment facility and allowed it to contact the artifact's current location. Dumbass. 85 transferred onto the document before the researcher could remove it, and was immediately made aware of its true nature. Because of the containment breach, several researchers advocated immediate destruction of the artifact. The decision was appealed to the O5 Council, which, in a single blank to single blank decision, advocated for 85's continued existence. Well, as we've learned before, the Foundation likes to preserve as many two-dimensional entities as they can. Hold on, we gotta get some good music here. I don't think it's this. Here, this one's fine. Since the revelation of her true nature, observers have noted that 85 has begun to show signs of clinical depression. Psychotherapy has been proposed, but the nature of the artifact's state of existence may make it difficult. Fucking comic book therapist. Since the revelation of her true nature, some success has been had by providing 85 tangible means to distract herself from her condition. In addition to the aforementioned optical illusions, 85 expressed particular interest in a set of technical drawings for a 1964 Ford Mustang convertible, transferring the parts one by one to a more naturalistic artwork than assembling the vehicle by hand over the period of a year. Oh, that's wholesome. Gasoline being provided through a Norman Rockwell print of a gas station attendant. What the fuck? Alright. Requests for further diversions of this nature are pending O5 level review and approval. That's cool. I guess, in the second dimension, too, this SCP has the context and capability of altering, I guess Norman Rockwell was probably an oil-based painting, but anyway, has the potential to make immaterial things material, at least in this two-dimensional plane. Very weird. Artistic Autonomous Foundation made. That's a rare one to see. Humanoid inscription, mobile, safe, sentient, sapient, visual. Okay. Let's move on to 86. It's a telephone. Safe, strike through, Euclid, strike through, safe. God, I was just talking about this in the Cosmos. Okay. The caption for the image literally just says SCP-86-1. The name of the image is Rotary. It appears to be a typical rotary phone, except, It's a little weird. The dial markers, as well as the dial itself, appear to be upside down. And I don't think 0OQ is a thing on a rotary phone. I could be wrong, though. Comes with standard phone jack, and it's just a typical black rotary phone. It looks like it's maybe from, I don't know, the 1960s. Taken care of very well. On the dial pad of the phone, and what appears to be just paper underneath a display, again, upside down, emergency calls for fire, police, ambulance, and then a bracket, dial 999, but it's upside down, so it says 666. Yeah, it's just a standard black rotary telephone with a handle receiver. Very aesthetic phone. Aside from maybe the lettering scheme per numeral being off and the center being hilariously anomalous. And of course, as I mentioned, 0OQ. The rest of this does look pretty standard. There's rotary.jpg. Item number 86, object class, strike through safe, strike through Euclid, unstrike through safe. Special containment procedures, 86 is contained within Office A19 at Bioresearch Station 71. The secretarial post outside the door is to be staffed by 1 armed guard. All components of 86 are to be kept within 6 meters of each other. 86.1 is to be kept on the office desk with a single connection to the telephone at the secretary's post. All communications between 86 and personnel are to be recorded, transcribed, and archived. Alright. Not a problem so far. What is this, like a nuke phone? Every 6 days, 82.2 is used to sharpen 4 standard commercially purchased 16 centimeter HB pencils. So it's not a phone? Continuing until at least 95%, 95, of the mass of each pencil has been converted into pencil shavings. 86.2 is not to be emptied, even if personnel judge that it has become clogged. In such an eventuality, personnel are to wait 10 minutes and then resume sharpening. This reminds me of being a kid. The house my parents own, I guess a teacher lived there at one point, so they used the basement as a small school for children in the neighborhood. So yeah, there was, I think, at least 2 pencil sharpeners on beams on the walls in the basement. And yes, we had a rotary phone as well down there, just connected to the landline. I don't know if that was included though. Every 7 days, 86.3 is to be filled with a block of 200 standard commercially purchased staples. Every 20 days, 86.4 is to be filled with 15 sheets of strike-through standard commercially purchased microfilm unstrike-through blank cellulose acetate film produced on site. 86.5 is to be drained of waste matter whenever it fills more than halfway. The waste matter is to be incinerated. What is it, poop? Is this a poopin' phone? All reading material requested by 86 must be approved by Site Command. All research proposals made by 86 must be approved by 205 level personnel. Description: 86 is a collective sessile organism whose component parts resemble items of office equipment from 1978, and which contains a consciousness claiming to be that of former Foundation Administrator Dr. Blank, 1907 to 1978. Its 8 components are a rotary telephone, 86.1, a wall-mounted pencil sharpener, 86.2, a desk stapler, 86.3, a microfiche reader, 86.4, a water cooler, 86.5, a filing cabinet, 86.6, a scientific calculator, 86.7, and a slide rule, 86.8. No physical connection or electromagnetic transmission between any of these components has been detected. This is the ghost of a possible Foundation member coming back to possess his favorite office pieces. Each component of 86 is composed of biological material, contained within a carapace made of varying amounts of chitin, keratin, and calcium carbonate, as well as trace amounts of nylon, rayon, and polyester. DNA analysis reveals that the tissues contained in 86 are partially of human origin and data expunged. 86.1 contains a large mass of neural tissue which functions as a brain, despite several conformational and anatomical irregularities. This brain hosts the majority of 86's consciousness. 86.1 also contains an ear equivalent, tympanum, ossicles, etc., and the receiver's mouthpiece, allowing 86 to hear. 86 is able to speak an exact match of Dr. Redacted's voice and accent via the earpiece through although radiological and ultrasound examination have not revealed any laryngeal structures. 86.1 is also capable of ringing, however 86 has stated that ringing gives it a headache. Consequently, the only circumstances under which it rings are when awakening from sleep, at which point it rings twice in rapid succession, and when in distress, at which point it rings SOS in Morse code. 86.2, 3, and 4 function as food intake organs. 86.2 consumes pencil shavings, 86.3 consumes staples, and 86.4 consumes microfilm. 86.5 functions as a combination bladder and bowel equivalent, storing metabolic waste. Yeah, don't drink from this. You're gonna get poop and pee water. 86.6 contains several organs which appear to combine sensory and manipulatory functions. 86 is proven capable of reading printed material and physically manipulating small items, for instance, turning pages and alphabetizing documents. This dude did not want to leave the Foundation, so he just embedded his psyche, his consciousness, in the typical office equipment. When they are placed within 86.6, at 86's request, it is regularly provided with non-classified reading material and non-classified clerical work. The biological functions of 86.7 and 8 have not been determined. However, 86 has stated that it experiences significant discomfort and confusion when they are removed from its vicinity, and it is therefore speculated that they have some role in its cognition. Although 86.7 accepts input, its output seems to be random glyphs and LED noise. Huh. Fucking symbol calculator. 86 has demonstrated that it has full access to Dr. Redacted's memories, and all tests indicate a 100% match with pre-existing psychological profiles of Dr. Redacted. However, 86 has pointed out that there is no way to confirm that it actually thinks of itself as Dr. Blank, so it's so aware it doesn't even know if it's the original Doctor. And that it may be an alien intelligence expertly posing as Dr. Redacted, or a sleeper persona which sincerely believes itself to be Dr. Redacted. Hey, good Foundation member. You know, sacrifices its sanity for the sake of research, I guess. Acquisition Log 86 is presumed to have been created on June 12, 1978, when Dr. Redacted was presumably killed by the PN class events resulting from the decommissioning of SCP. Is that quadruple blank there? The decommissioning of SCP quadruple blank. On June 20th, 1978, Dr. Redacted's office was being emptied by maintenance personnel so that it could be assigned to a successor. At this point, 86.1 began ringing repeatedly, despite not being connected to a telephone jack. Maintenance personnel notified Level 3 operatives who answered 86.1. During the subsequent conversation, 86 identified itself as Dr. Redacted, then ordered Level 3 personnel to revoke its security clearance and make a full report of its existence and properties to 05 level personnel. With a Giga Chad. Gets a chance at afterlife in like a really mundane way. And it's like, you know what? I'm clearly an SCP object, bro. Just leave me be. I'm clearly gonna cause some problem at some point. Dr. Redacted was given a posthumous commendation for meritorious conduct in either reporting himself as an SCP or in influencing the anomalous entity emulating his behavior into doing so. That's cool as fuck. Strike-through note, 86 was originally classified as safe, but is stated that because it is a sapient entity with anomalous biology and metabolism and with access to the full memories of an SCP Foundation administrator who previously had level 4 security clearance, should be classified as Euclid. On strike-through. Note, although we appreciate 86's conscientiousness, there is at this time no pressing reason to classify it as Euclid. If circumstances change, we'll reconsider. 05 single blank. Appliance, biological, furniture, organic, rewrite, safe, sapient, sentient, tool. Well, that's kind of cool. Not a glow-up, but a good ending to a bad circumstance. Hopefully the telephone boy doesn't go insane. The office boy. Did I load this wrong? Okay, there it is. Hey, 87! We've actually streamed the game for this, or at least one of the games. Cool. Well, I already have the context on this, but I'll go in blind anyway. Or at least, like, pretending I'm blind. So the caption of the image says, Figure A, still frame taken from video footage of Exploration 1. The name of the image is 87stairface.png, and aptly as the name described, there is a ghostly figure of a face at the bottom of the staircase. There's a very dark black and white image, or perhaps the structure of the area is just in profound darkness. It appears to be a person's face with no discernible irises or anything, like pupils or anything, just sort of like a blank white glaze on the eyes. Although, aside from that typical facial structure, no discernible mouth, At least no easily discernible mouth. Hold on, let me zoom in here. Come on. Come on, keyboard. Yeah, no easily discernible mouth, but you can make out somewhat a nose, Itachi Uchiha lines on the cheeks, underneath the eyes, a little bit of bags under the eyes, and somewhat of a forehead. Not much else aside from that. And yeah, it's a hallway, just typically a stairwell hallway, typically reminiscent of maybe like New York style high-rise apartment building. This could be the access stairs. And yeah, really all that can be discerned here is the left wall is a somewhat dirty white, maybe made of stone or painted white. There are banisters on the left side and on the middle to right side, which descend and ascend. And again, there's just a staircase, somewhat dimly lit. Towards the bottom of this flight of stairs, you can somewhat discern maybe floor or an object or something. And really nothing else can really be seen except for this staircase, the wall, the banister, the stairs, the floor, and this entity. So yeah, this is 87, the Endless Staircase, I believe it's called. Item number 87, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. '87 is located on the campus of Radioactive. The doorway leading to 87 is constructed of reinforced steel with an electro-release lock mechanism. It has been disguised to resemble a janitorial closet, consistent with the design of the building. The lock mechanism on the doorknob will not release unless double blank volts are applied in conjunction with counterclockwise rotation of the key. The inside of the door is lined with 6 centimeters of industrial foam padding. Due to the results of the final exploration, see document 87-4, or IV, no personnel are permitted to access 87. Description: 87 is an unlit platform staircase. Stairs descend on a 38-degree angle for 13 steps before reaching a semicircular platform of approximately 3 meters in diameter. Descent direction rotates 180 degrees at each platform. The design of 87 limits subjects to a visual range of approximately 1.5 flights. A light source is required for any subjects exploring 87, as there are no lighting fixtures or windows present. Lighting sources brighter than 75 watts have shown to be ineffective, as 87 seems to absorb excess light. Subjects' report and audio recordings confirm the distress vocalizations from what is presumed to be a child between the ages of single blank and double blank. The source of the distress calls is estimated to be located approximately 200 meters below the initial platform. However, any attempts to descend the staircase have failed to bring subjects closer to the source. Man, still haven't played the classic game based on this. It's pretty short and definitely worth checking out. Although in my opinion, the more recent version that was released on itch.io is way better. But you know, the OG, it's very crusty and kind of silly. It almost reminds me of like Windows 2000 Maze screensaver level of crust. But it's good. Both versions are good. I'm sure more fan variant versions are good as well. However, any attempts to descend the staircase have failed to bring subjects closer to the source. The depth of descent calculated from Exploration 4, the longest exploration, is shown to be far beyond both the possible structure and both the building and geological surroundings. At this time, it is unknown if 87 has an endpoint. Every time I see a close-up of this face, I think of DNSL, Daniel from Second Life. What a great YouTuber, great streamer. Although I tried watching him live on stream the other night, because I saw he was streaming for once in his damn life. Kinda unentertaining what he was doing, but he's a good guy. So the caption on the second image, figure B, SCP-87-1, enhanced image from still taken from Exploration 1. This is the face I described earlier. And yeah, it just appears to be a very blurry, ghostly face with details kind of hard to depict. Again, the cheek area Like, underneath the eye appears to be that same, like, Itachi, very carved, weird cheekbone structure. And aside from that, not much else discernible. You can sort of make out maybe the structure of eyebrows. Just the bone structure, though, and maybe the musculature. I cannot really speak as to whether there are actually eyebrows here or not. The eyes, they appear to have somewhat of maybe some eyelashes, but again, it's hard to discern really anything from this. Yeah, it's just a ghost white face and a blurry visage. And in the right-hand corner appears to be something. Maybe that's just artifacting from the still image. Who knows? Could be a wall. Could be the banisters. We'll get to 184 one of these moments. Once we catch up, you know. Okay, where were we? 87 has undergone 4 video recorded explorations by Class D personnel. Yeah, the game's definitely worth checking out for this. Multiple games, whatever. Each subject conducting an exploration has encountered 87-1, which appears as a face with no visible pupils, nostrils, or mouth. The nature of 87-1 is entirely unclear, but it has been determined that it is not the source of the pleading. Subjects exhibit feelings of intense paranoia and fear when faced with 87-1, but it is undetermined whether said feelings are abnormal or simply natural reactions. Addendum, over a period of 2 weeks following exploration 4, several members of the staff and students from the redacted campus reported knocking at a variable rate of 1 to 2 seconds per knock, coming from the interior of 87. The door leading to 87 has been fitted with 6 centimeter thick industrial padding. All reports of knocking have ceased. That's fucked. At least it stops normal people from stumbling into this, I guess. Authorized personnel may refer to documents 87-1 through 87-4 for transcripts on explorations 1 through 4. Okay. I guess 4 is data expunged. Probably links back to one of the games or something. Document 87-1. Oh, that's like a fucking permalink. Do I really want to read like 7 entries here? Hold on. Okay, here's 87-1. Kinda short. Here's 87-2. Here's 87-3. Yeah, these are somewhat okay. We'll go ahead and read them. Okay, 87-1, or 87I. Document 87-1, Exploration 1. D-8432 is a 43-year-old Caucasian male of average build and appearance and unremarkable psychological background. Class D designation as a result of demotion due to mishandling SCP triple blank. 8432 is equipped with a 75-watt flood lamp with battery power capable of lasting 24 hours, a handheld camcorder fitted with transmission stream, and an audio headset for communicating with Dr. Blank at control. Yeah, I think this first one is a reference to a game. D-8432 steps through the doorway onto initial platform. Despite the wattage, the flood lamp only illuminates the first 9 steps. The second platform is not visible. 8432, it's fucking dark. Dr. Blank, is your flood lamp functioning properly? Yo, more Phantasy Star music. Holy shit. 8432 shines the light out the door and into the academic building's hallway. The light reaches significantly further. 8432, yeah, it's working. It just won't light these stairs all the way down. Doctor, thank you. Please continue. 8432 descends for 13 steps before reaching the second platform. The platform is in the shape of a semicircle, with an apparently concrete surface and walls. There are no distinct markings aside from nondescript patches of dust, dirt, or wear consistent with that which is found in a typical concrete stairwell. 8432 rotates 180 degrees to begin descent down the second flight, then pauses. Doctor, reason for stopping? 8432, you hear that? There's a fucking kid down here, sounds like one. The described audio is feeding through the camera or mic at this time. Doctor, could you please describe the sound? 8432, it's young. Either female or a very young boy. It's crying and sobbing and saying, please, help, please. Yeah, it keeps repeating that and crying. Doctor, can you estimate its distance from your current location? 8432, fuck, I don't know, maybe 200 meters down? Doctor, please continue down the next flight. The subject descends another 13 steps. As he reaches the landing, audio of the child as described is picked up. The child alternates between sobbing, wailing, and the sounds please help and down here. The level of audio is consistent with D8432's report, but being approximately 200 meters below. Doctor, can you still hear the crying? 8432, yeah. Doctor, we're picking it up as well. Please continue down stop if you notice any changes in the audio or environment. The subject descends another 3 flights of stairs before stopping. 8432, keep going? Doctor, please. Kinda brave. 8432 continues another 17 flights, total of 22 flights before stopping. There are no visual changes in the environment, and each flight has been a consistent 13 steps. 8432, I'm not getting any fucking closer to the kid. Stereo audio confirms that the crying noise has not increased in volume and remains approximately 200 meters below the subject. Spooky. Doctor, noted. Please continue. The subject continues another 28 flights before stopping. Parentheses 50 flights total. D8432 is standing on the 51st landing, counting the initial ground level landing. 8432 is estimated to be 200 meters below the initial platform. 34 minutes have elapsed. The volume of the crying has not increased. 8432, I feel a little uneasy. Doctor, you spent a long time in a dark, unknown stairwell. It's natural. Please continue. The subject hesitates before stepping down on the next stair. As the subject moves forward, the flood lamp illuminates a face located approximately at the bottom of the flight. 87-1. It appears to be the same size and shape as a human head, except it is lacking a mouth, nostrils, and pupils. The face is completely motionless but is making direct eye contact, indicating its awareness of 8432. 8432 yelling, fuck. What the fuck is that shit? Holy fucking shit, what the fuck? Doctor, can you please describe what you see? 8432, it's some sort of fucking person face thing and it's fucking looking right at me. Fuck, it's looking right at me. Doctor, is it moving? 8432, pause, heavy breathing. No, it's just staring at me. Fuck, it's creepy. Doctor, please approach and further illuminate the entity. 8432, fuck, I don't want to fucking... The face jerks forward about 50 centimeters directly towards 8432. 8432 yelling, fuck. Redacted. 8432 enters a panicked state and rapidly ascends 87. 8432 reaches the ground floor in 18 minutes, at which time he collapses and passes out. There's no sign of 87-1. Review of the footage indicates an equal number of flights and steps ascending as descending. Audio of the crying and pleading remains at the same volume until the last flight, at which point it ceases. Medical reports indicate collapse was a result of the rapid ascension of the stairs causing fatigue. Yeah, just anxiety and over-exercise. Exploration supplement. Alright, let's move on to 87-2. Or II. Document 87-2. Exploration 2. D9035 is a 28-year-old African-American male of strong build. Psychological background. I don't know how I went southern there for a second. Psychological background indicates no abnormalities except an extreme hatred for women. Oh, okay. Subject has an extensive record of data expunged. 9035 is equipped with a 100-watt flood lamp with battery power capable of lasting 24 hours, a handheld camcorder fitted with a transmission stream, and an audio headset for communication with Dr. Blank at control. 9035 is also equipped with a backpack containing 100 small LED lights with adhesive backs and battery lives of approximately 3 weeks. Smart. Light it up whenever you gotta send someone back in here, huh? Lights turn on and off by compressing them. 9035 shines the flood lamp down the first flight of stairs. Despite the extra wattage, the light does not illuminate beyond the 9th step. 9035, you want me to go down there, Doc? Doctor, please shine your flood lamp outside of 87 to verify it is functioning properly. 9035 shines the light into the hallway. Comparison with the footage from Exploration 1 confirms that it is indeed brighter. Doctor, thank you. Please continue to the first landing. 9035, hey Doc, I know what you said and all, but I don't think I want to go there. Doctor, please continue to the first landing. 9035, Doc, look, Doctor, interrupting. As per our earlier conversation, please continue to the first landing. 9035 pauses for 18 seconds, then descends 13 steps onto the first landing and stops. 9035, is that a kid? Doctor, please remove one of the adhesive lights and affix it to the wall on the landing. 9035, Doc, you hear that? Is that a kid down here? Doctor, that's unconfirmed. Please affix an adhesive light to the wall and verify it functions. 9035 hesitates, then removes one of the lights from his backpack and adheres it to the wall. He presses on the light and turns it on. Doctor, please turn off your flood lamp. 9035 hesitates again before turning off the lamp. The LED light illuminates the landing but does not extend beyond the first step either way. We disconnected from the internet, hold on. I saw Twitch chat acting weird. Alright, well at least we weren't disconnected too long. YouTube didn't miss anything, but the Twitch audience, you know, they missed a little bit. Alright, we're at least back in the Twitch chat, and we are reconnected on OBS. Nice. Welcome back, welcome back. We just disconnected for a hot second. Hope you guys are enjoying so far. We're gonna wrap up pretty soon, but this has been very interesting tonight. Alright, Doctor, thank you. You may turn your flood lamp back on. Please continue to descend. At each landing, affix an LED light to the wall and turn it on. If you notice anything unusual, please report it. 9035 turns the flood lamp back on, then descends the next flight of stairs. As he sets foot on the landing, the audio picks up sounds of pleading and crying consistent with those of the first exploration. Doctor, can you still hear the previously reported audio? 9035, yeah. She sounds about 150, maybe 200 meters down. Am I supposed to get her? Look, Doc. I don't do good with kids. Doctor, please place the light and continue down until you notice anything unusual. The subject adheres the light to the wall and turns it on, and continues to the next landing. He adheres the third LED light to the wall and turns it on. 9035 continues in this manner for the next 25 flights before stopping. 9035, I don't think I'm getting any closer to the kid, Doc. Doctor, how far below would you estimate the source of the sound to be? 9035, same as before, 150 to 200 meters down. Doctor, thank you, please proceed. 9035 continues in the same fashion for the next 24 flights. At the 51st landing he stops. Footage shows an arched gouge in the concrete wall, estimated to be approximately 50 centimeters long and 10 centimeters wide. The first step from the landing appears to be completely smashed into rubble. 9035, you see that? Doctor, yes. Can you please describe what you see? 9035, looks like something slashed at the wall, and the step over here is all crumbled up and stuff. The slash mark looks really smooth. 9035 touches the gouge mark. 9035, yeah, it's smooth. Feels like glass. Doctor, thank you, please continue down. 9035, look, Doc, I think I've gone far enough. Doctor, please continue as per our agreement. 9035, I don't want to be doing this, agreement or not. Data expunged. 9035 steps over the destroyed step and continues down the staircase. Nothing is notable at the next landing. 9035 adheres an LED light to the wall and continues in the same fashion for another 38 flights. The sound of the crying and pleading still has not gotten closer. 9035 is on the 89th landing and 74 minutes have elapsed from the beginning of the exploration. This dude's brave as fuck. Subject is estimated to be 350 meters below the initial platform. 9035. I feel like the kid's just trying to lure me down here, Doc. I think it's time for me to... 9035 stops talking and moving as the flood lamp illuminates 87-1. Alright, here we go, what's happening? The phase is staring directly at 9035, again indicating awareness of the subject's presence. Although 87-1 appears to be unmoving, its location is 38 flights below the initial encounter in Exploration 1, indicating it is mobile. Doctor, is there a reason you stopped? 9035, unresponsive. 9035's breathing grows labored. 87-1 remains immobile for an additional 13 seconds. 87-1 blinks. D-9035 yelling incomprehensible. 87-1 jerks forward until it is approximately 90 centimeters from 9035. Subject turns and flees up the stairs. Doctor, please relax and calm down. Turn around, we need a closer look at the face. 9035 ignores Doctor blank and continues rapid ascent. He continues to scream incomprehensibly. Doctor, 9035, can you hear me? Please slow down. 9035 is unresponsive and continues rapidly climbing the stairs. His screaming diminishes to babbling. After ascending 72 flights, 9035 collapses on the 17th landing. Doctor, 9035, can you hear me? 9035 is unresponsive. 9035 is unresponsive, but labored breathing can be heard through the audio feed. For the next 14 minutes, 9035 is immobile. The visual feed is black, and audio picks up only the subject's breathing and the continuous pleading coming from below. That's fucking scuffed. After 14 minutes 32 seconds of unchanging visual and audio feeds, the sound of a rapid heartbeat not consistent with a human heartbeat and a low cracking noise is heard. 7 seconds later, 9035 gasps and revives, continuing his ascent of the stairs rapidly and wordlessly. The heartbeat and cracking cease, and nothing abnormal is detected on the visual field. He remains unresponsive. 9035 exits 87 and sits on the floor outside of the entrance. 9035 then enters a catatonic state from which he has not yet recovered. Damn, this thing scared him so fucking much it paralyzed him. That is fucked. Alright. Well, here's 87-3 or 87 I. Ayayay. Get your ayayas in the chat. Document 87-3 Exploration 3. 9884 is a 23-year-old female of average build and appearance. Psychological background indicates a history of depression. Subject has a minimal record of using excessive force to data expunge. 9884 is equipped with a 75-watt flood lamp, with battery power capable of lasting 24 hours, a handheld camcorder fitted with a transmission stream, and an audio headset for communication with Dr. Blank at control. 9884 is also equipped with a backpack containing 3.75 liters of water, 15 nutrient bars, and 1 thermal blanket. Alright, sweet. We're going camping in the endless hallway. 9884 stands at the ground level landing of 87. The flood lamp illuminates only the first 9 steps. LED lights placed on the wall during the last exploration are not visible. Huh. Doctor, please descend the first flight and examine the landing wall. 9884 descends 13 steps and stops at the landing. There's no trace of the LED light at the location footage from Exploration 2 indicates it was placed. 9884, it's just a dirty concrete wall. There's like nothing on it. No, wait, it's a little bit sticky right here. 9884 indicates a spot on the wall. The LED light should have been located. 9884, there's a child crying down there. She's begging for help and crying. Doctor, thank you. Please continue down the steps until you notice anything unusual. 9884 descends. Upon reaching the next landing, audio of the crying child consistent with the prior 2 explorations is picked up. No LED lights appear to be present on any of the landing walls. 9884 continues with no incident until she reaches the 17th landing. 9884. Ew, there's something on the ground here and it smells really bad. It's all sticky and stuck on my shoe. Ugh, it's so gross. Did someone poop on the floor? Video feed confirms presence of substance occupying a space approximately 50 centimeters in diameter. Doctor, can you describe the scent? 9884. It kinda smells like old rusty metal and pee. Doctor, thank you. Please continue until you notice anything else. 9884 continues to the 51st landing without incident. The 51st landing remains unchanged from the previous expedition, and similar observations are made. Wait, so there's lights on the walls? Huh. 9884 is asked again to descend until anything unusual is noticed. Subject continues her descent until the 89th landing is reached. The video feed jerks and the subject yells. 9884. Ah, fuck. There's a hole in the ground and I almost fell in. Video feed confirms the presence of a hole approximately 1 meter in diameter. Subject shines the floodlight down, revealing only blackness. Approximately 4 seconds passed, and a light of an indeterminate distance down the hole flicks on for approximately 2 seconds, and then back off. What the fuck? We got like someone living down here? The janitor lived down here or something? 9884, there was a light down there. It's gone now, but it was on for like a second. Did you see it? Doctor, yes. Can you estimate the depth of this hole? 9884, no way, it's too deep. At least a kilometer. Like, way more than a kilometer. Doctor, thank you. Can you still hear the sounds of the child? 9884, uh-huh. She still sounds far away. I don't feel like I'm getting any closer. It's like for every step I take, she takes one down. Dude, this lady is brave as fuck. Not an ounce of fear in her. Doctor, please continue down until you encounter anything unusual. 9884 continues to descend 87 for approximately an hour, covering an additional 164 flights. Hey, she's got the biggest balls of them all, holy shit. She stops to rest on the 253rd landing, consuming 1 nutrient bar and several gulps of water. 9884 is at an estimated 1.1 kilometers below the initial landing, yet the sound of the child has not changed in volume. After pausing for 4 minutes, 9884 resumes her descent, making no stops for another 216 flights, 1.5 hours later. What an adventurous person. 9884 is on the 469th landing, nice, an approximate 1.8 kilometer below the ground level. Again, she's just Monka Giga, she's got the biggest balls of them all. 9884, I'm not getting anywhere. I think it's time I went back. I mean, going down is one thing, but this is a long climb back. Doctor, you have been provided with food, water, and blankets to last you 24 hours. Please continue down. 9884, I think I'm gonna go back up. 9884 turns towards the previous flight of stairs. 9884, screams. 87-1, the face is directly behind 9884, blocking her ascent. The face appears approximately 30 centimeters from the lens of the camera. Its eyes are fixed directly on the lens, this time looking not at the subject but the person viewing the video feed. The video feed glitches and freezes for 4 seconds, accompanied by a static-like screeching noise from the audio feed. It then cuts to bumpy visuals of 9884 descending the stairs rapidly. Okay, fuck. 9884, panicked and hysterical. It's been following me. This whole time it's been right behind me. Oh god, it's right behind me. It's looking right at me. Dr. Blank, please do something. Please help me. Oh god. No, please get it away. Please, no. I knew it was following me. Help make it leave. Please, no. It was looking at me. It was staring at me. It knew I was here. It's been watching me this whole time. Oh god, please help me. No, please. This continues in a similar fashion until the end. The end? I think she went too far down. 9884 continues to scream and plead hysterically as she rapidly descends the staircase. The previously heard static-like screeching seems to overlay the audio feed, beneath which can still be heard the original sound of the crying child. Approximately 14 flights down, the video feed swings to show the area directly behind 9884. The face is now approximately 20 centimeters from the camera lens. It is not staring at the subject, rather it is fixated on the camera lens, giving the illusion it is making eye contact with those viewing the footage. It is important to note that since the sighting of 87-1, the sound of the girl crying and pleading has been increasing in volume, indicating 9884 is nearing the source. After an approximate 150 panic flights of descent, with 3 visual confirmations of 87-1 still in pursuit, 9884 trips and appears to fall unconscious. Audio feed indicates strong proximity to the source of the crying. The static and screeching noise continue. The video feed shows yet another descending flight of stairs, indicating 9884 still has not reached the base of the stairwell. 12 seconds of motionlessness pass before the face comes in full view of the camera, eye contact being made directly with the viewer. Audio and video feed cuts out and no connection is re-established. Well, that's fucked. This person probably died down there. Or is too petrified by this thing they just ate themselves to death and fucking starved. And with that many flights and that amount of fear, they could easily perish from a heart attack. Well, that was the final supplement. Like I said, I'm sure Document 4 is probably just a reference to one of the future games that was made or one of the concurrent games. Acoustic Building Euclid Light Location Spacetime. That was 87, a very popular one, the Infinite Staircase. Alright, here's 88, very short. Item number 88, Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures 88 is to remain sealed in its airtight case at all times. The case is constructed of a transparent acrylic plastic to resist the corrosive properties of 88 secretions. In the event that 88 should awaken from hibernation, any room that it is stored within should be constructed of durable plastics, rubber or ceramics, to hinder its ability to escape. I'm surprised we're like 7-8 hours deep in this stream tonight and I'm like stumbling over my words way less than that one stream the other night. Or it's just like 2.5 hours of SCP Wiki stream and I just could not. My tongue would not comply. Temperature of 88's containment should not exceed 15 degrees Celsius, and any personnel entering containment must observe Level 4 hazardous material protocols and wear the appropriate protective gear at all times. Any personnel who do not observe proper containment protocols in presence of 88, or who show signs of physical mutation, are to be demoted to D class and held for observation. So it's hazardous to genetics or something too, huh? Description: 88 is a humanoid with reptilian features which appears to have been mummified in a languid posture. Was this like the Dragon Covenant statue in Dark Souls? However, 88 is merely in a state of hibernation from which it may recover if it is, again, exposed to a more hospitable environment than its current containment. Research has indicated that 88 is approximately 6,000 years old and is capable of secreting a variety of hazardous biological compounds from its mouth and hands. Something this old, it probably evolved over the centuries. Over the millennia, some of these substances could be of great strategic value if replicated, but until a means to extract them without awakening 88 is found, research into this area is on hold. So, probably again, referencing 294, the coffee vending machine. This thing probably wakes up if the vending machine tries to obtain some of its liquids. 88 was recovered with the mummified remains of 23 beings sharing a similar morphology. However, none of these beings were alive. An examination suggests that they were originally human. Information obtained by agents E-88-3 and E-88-7 with their subsequent mutation due to 88 exposure corroborates this theory. Addendum 88 was recovered in 1930 single blank from a subterranean complex below Los Angeles, California. The site was originally discovered by G.W. S. using a device he called a radio X-ray, which was little more than a mechanical dowsing rod. While S.'s methods were dubious, his discovery was not. After mapping a series of tunnels and gold deposits below the city, S. declared that he had found the lost city of the lizard people as described in the legends of Arizona's Hopi tribe. S's claims went as far as to be featured on the front page of the Los Angeles Times on January 29, 1934, before the Foundation was able to verify his claims and silence Mr. S. The subterranean complex was not nearly as extensive as described in legend, and most of the artifacts recovered within were too corroded to provide significant information, save for a large message carved into the rock wall of an unfinished tunnel. For partial translation of this text, see document 8814. Containment breach overview. In more than 70 years of containment, 88 has only aroused from its state of hibernation twice, breaching containment with a caustic fluid that dissolves most minerals and metals. Each time multiple personnel were exposed to a second compound which 88 uses to propagate itself. Affected personnel underwent a painful mutation after which they shared the physical characteristics of 88. Those few who received a large dosage of the compound, administered directly via mouth-to-mouth contact, were changed the fastest and subsequently sacrificed themselves to protect 88 from harm. 88 has also demonstrated the ability to produce potent neurotoxins in liquid and gaseous form to combat containment personnel. I'm gonna combat it with the lizards. Neurotoxin lizard. Containment during the second breach was re-achieved by isolating 88 and affected personnel in the facility and lowering the temperature. Affected personnel built a pedestal from discarded equipment, upon which 88 took a recumbent position before slipping back into hibernation. The mutated personnel were neutralized at this point, and 88 was returned to containment. The current strategy of lowered temperature and non-metallic containment has been successful in keeping 88 isolated. 88 was reclassified to safe status November double blank and 19 double blank. So it's just a lizard person that propagates through, I guess, hominid organisms. And presumably whatever things were in its cave were either people that were converted into itself, or this is the evolutionary line of those, and this is just the most recent one. It has like this weird thing where it hoards corpses from its previous progeny, or its ancestry. Or maybe this is just one thing that's existed for 6,000 years, and it's been like molting its skin or something, who knows. Alive, biohazard, corrosive, humanoid, mind-affecting. Safe, self-replicating, toxic, transfiguration. Yeah, safe is a broad spectrum when it comes to the Foundation, that's for sure. Ooh, this one's fucking crazy, I remember this. This one is nuts. Also get a little bit of vibe from the Native American dude. Again, the Native American dude that had the metal wings. Except this thing is just absurd. It's like teaching the Foundation how to make a deity or some shit. I don't know what to call this thing. The caption for the image says, SCP-89 after transportation to 89B's location in order to perform Protocol M8. Have we read this before? I know this one, but have we read this on stream before? Well, whatever. Here's 85 or 89. It appears to be a statue of maybe like a golden or maybe painted bronze or even maybe just stone depiction of perhaps a deity. It looks like a minotaur head or a bull's head. Its mouth is agape. And again, like the structure of the body, it is very golden. It has markings on the hands, forearms, upper arms, chest, neck region, and 4 legs that believe me to assume this is of maybe like Indian descent. It appears to have what it resemble tattoos, or even just henna markings in a very ornate pattern all over its body. The central pattern is what appears to be an eye with the 6-pointed star. I don't want to call it the Star of David, but a 6-pointed star and maybe a pedestal, and then like a sun, wind, or light behind it. The palms depict, again, a sun or pointed path reference with a large circle in the middle, a starburst outside of the circle, and then many dots lining the exterior. Again, the forearms depicting like a band, whirling pattern, bands on the upper arm on both sides. The neck area depicting what would I would assume is a traditional ancient necklace. Very ornate, very half concentric circles spread about on a tabard of presumably not a brooch, but you know, a placard for a large ornate necklace. And again, just a weird pendant. Kind of looks like a batleth from Star Trek, Klingon batleth. Again, the figure in question, it has wings. It appears to be sitting or doing a crunch, lol. And again, those hennas or tattoos depicting what appears to be maybe even like jewelry ornamented on the foreleg. Just depicting, again, like a typical pattern of like Indian or maybe even, I don't know, just tribal imagery. In the background is what appears to be maybe just, if I had to guess, the interior of a pyramid. Or like a sacred temple. I kind of doubt that. But a doorway can be made out, discerned. Maybe like a bookcase over by it, like a smaller statue by the doorway, and then what appears to be an awning that peeks out into the outside, maybe. And yeah, just the walls depict what appears to be maybe sandstone. Maybe just concrete. It has a very tannish, goldish texture. And a very coarse brown ceiling. What appears to be a Minecraft grass block in the bottom left corner. Okay, here's 89, item number 89. If we've already read this, my bad, but it's kind of short. It's pretty short. I don't think we've gotten this random, though. I probably would remember such an early in the series number. 89, number 89, object class Euclid, see below. Special containment procedures. 89 is stored in a special shipping container at Site 36 and monitored for locution events. Mobile Task Force Mu-89, consisting of personnel with advanced training in linguistics, psychology, and tactical diplomacy, has been established in order to respond to such locution events. Upon the occurrence of a locution event, Mobile Task Force Mu-89, whatever, is to translate and interpret the locution so as to identify the primary subjects of that triggering, herein designated 89A and 89B, then execute Protocol M8, which consists of the following steps. 1. Transport 89 to 89A's location, and explain Protocol M8 to 89B, and 2. At such time as 89B is prepared to voluntarily execute Protocol M8, render to 89B any assistance as 89B may request in connection with 89B performing the following actions: inserting 89A into the cavity together with inflammable materials such as oiled wood or charcoal, and then lighting them. This is like a fucking deity locution event where it self-replicates and fucking is instructed to immolate itself so that it can continue to reproduce but not exceed a level of godhood or some shit. I don't know what to call this thing. The successful execution of Protocol M8 requires the voluntary compliance of 89B in a sober and uncoerced state. Likewise, 89A must be conscious and alert during the execution of the protocol. It is recommended that 89B be restrained, although not sedated, following ignition so as to avoid interference with the completion of the protocol, as the process is extremely painful and fatal to 89A. If 89B refuses to voluntarily execute Protocol M8 in accordance with the aforementioned specifications, MTF Mu-89 is to explain the prospective consequences of failing to successfully complete the protocol and make every effort to persuade 89B to cooperate. If MTF Mu-89's best efforts to persuade 89B are unsuccessful, 89 is to be redesignated as Keter class and Protocol M9 is to be executed. Reference document 89M9. The use of intimidation, threats, or mind-altering drugs or intoxicants in an effort to affect 89B's free will and any attempt to complete Protocol M8 without 89B's participation or voluntary cooperation, or otherwise other than as described, are strictly prohibited, since these measures invalidate the attempted completion of the protocol and are known to intensify the severity of the attendant Type S event. It is recommended, although not a required part of Protocol M8, to cause the execution of Step 2 to Protocol M8 to be accompanied by the sounding of horns and percussion instruments, as doing so may mask the sounds made by 89A during the execution of the protocol. Upon a successful execution of Protocol M8, the related Type S event generally begins to abate within 7 hours. Description 89 is a glazed earthenware statue, approximately 3 meters in height, depicting a winged, bull-headed humanoid with an open mouth. The front of the statue's torso is hinged and can be opened from the top to reveal a cavity approximately 0.6 cubic meters in volume, and can be locked from the outside. The rear bears an inscription in Canaanite language, possibly Punic. Footnote 1. Dr. Blank translated an excerpt of the text as Nightmare of Moloch, Moloch the Loveless, Mental Moloch, Moloch the Heavy Judger of Men. The statue dates from approximately the 2nd century BCE. This thing's old as fuck. On infrequent occasions, sometimes separated by periods in excess of a century, the statue speaks. The mechanism by which these sounds are made is not understood, and the mouth of the statue does not move. The statue's locutions are in a Canaanite language, probably the same language as the inscription, and consist of dot, the name or a description of 089A, dot, a demand for Protocol M8 to be accomplished, together with instructions for doing so, and dot, a description of the attendant Type S event in figurative language. This thing's like an apocalypse statue. It'll reproduce and fucking destroy the universe, but it's aware of it, so it tells people to kill it. Each locution event is followed within a period of 3 to 11 days by the commencement of a Type S event meeting the description given in the locution event, unless Protocol M8 has already been completed. Each Type S event is an epidemic, natural disaster, mass hysteria involving genocide or other massacres, or other event involving extensive damage to property and loss of human lives over a period of time that continues until Protocol M8 is successfully completed. In the case of each documented locution event, the attendant Type S event, while significant, is limited to a geographic area that does not directly affect 89B. This has, in some documented cases, resulted in the pendency of a Type S event for an extended duration of time due to 89B's unawareness of 89 or of Protocol M8, or to 89B's unwillingness to undertake Protocol M8 in order to arrest the Type S event. So it's like basically an avatar generation state, except this thing causes mass hysteria, problems, etc. For each locution event, 89A is a healthy, unblemished human infant or child between 8 months and 6 years of age, and 89B is that child's natural mother. In all documented cases at the time of the locution event, 89A and B are each alive and healthy, and experience a strong bond of trust and affection with each other. Following 89B's placement of 89A in the cavity and the ignition of the inflammable materials, 89A will burn and be destroyed over a period of 2 to 5 hours. Addendum 1. Memo to file from Dr. Garcia. While the role of 89 in actually causing Type S events is unclear, experience has demonstrated that the prompt and precise applications of Protocol M8 is effective in limiting the damage that they do. Dr. Patel has speculated that 89 does not cause Type S events, but merely anticipates them and provides a means to mitigate their effects. Addendum number 2, a partial list of documented Type S events that were terminated by means of Protocol M8, inclusive of documented completions of Protocol M8 that predate the Foundation's acquisition of custody of 89 follows. Date of locution, March 21, 1788. Description of Type S event and locution event. The flames shall consume their houses, yea, and their markets and their temples, and all of their dwelling places, they shall be destroyed. Type S event fire in city of blank blank. Outcome Protocol M8 completed on day 29 after a locution event. 66% of buildings 66 of city's buildings destroyed. Date of locution, December 2nd, 1850. Description of Type S event and locution event. The false prophet shall gather the multitude unto him, and cast them against the princes. They shall each of them be slain, and their fields made barren. Their fields. Type S event, large-scale Messianic-based peasant uprising in blank. Outcome, Protocol M8, completed on day 1363 after locution event. Massacres associated with uprising and its suppression, and attendant agricultural collapse account for at least double blank million casualties. Date of locution, November 23rd, 1951. Description of Type S event and locution event. The earth shall tremble and the seas shall rise and be cast against the earth, and the mountain shall vomit fire, its voice shall be darkness and death. Type S event, earthquake and volcanic eruption in blank blank. Outcome, Protocol M8 executed within 31 hours of locution event. No tsunami resulted, although geological models had anticipated that one would occur from a seismic event in that area. No fatalities. So this avatar, once it is executed, will immediately halt whatever the attendant Type S locution event is. Interesting. It's a modern sacrifice idol. Let's see. Date of locution, November 7th, 1970. Description of Type S event and locution event. The rains shall scour the earth, and sweep away men and his beasts and all his works. The deluge shall take them all. Type S event, cyclone in blank. Outcome, Protocol M8, executed on day 49 after locution event. Casualties from flooding, disease, and starvation estimated at triple blank thousand. Date of locution, April 4th, 20 double blank. Description of Type S event and locution event, data expunged. Type S event, data expunged. Outcome, ongoing. Protocol M8, not yet executed. Alright. Well, if we have read that one or not, it's still very interesting. Very weird, too. Euclid Fire Humanoid Predictive Religious Ritual Statue. Straightforward. More by this author, I guess. Spike Brennan's Proposal. Alright. Well, let's move on to number 90. We're almost done for the night. Here's 90, pretty short. And then we'll move on to 184. Item number 90. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Artifact is to be held in a secure bunker in the facility at Site double blank, and constantly monitored by approved Class D personnel. The object's new arrangement is to be imaged every time it shifts. New arrangements are fed into the facility's Class OT supercomputer. Division Chief is to be notified of all changes in current estimates every half hour. No personnel is to touch 90 except under order triple blank, double blank, quadruple blank. AXA security level has been created for monitoring 90. Non-AXA personnel found in the facility will be terminated. Description: 90 was located and retrieved in blank on April 10th, 19 double blank. Prior to retrieval, 90 had been located in a chamber at the nearby cathedral. 90 was removed, the cathedral burned, 6 months, and the priests were terminated. What the fuck? You just going out killing people, Foundation? What did they do this time, huh? You're just killing people for fun? Is that what it is? 90 has been located at Site double blank since the retrieval. Object's initial location prior to the cathedral is unrecorded. 90 is a black cubic structure, 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters, made of an unknown ceramic material. Object is classified as indestructible following tests outlined in document 90B unattached. Each side is divided into 10,000 individual squares, in arrangement similar to a Rubik's Cube. What the fuck? 100 segments per edge, each segment 2 millimeters wide. Each square has part of a design etched into the surface. Etchings glow white. Unknown internal structure causes the realignment of a single row or column, roughly, every 2.8 seconds. Vague records of the object's alignments have been kept since 1242 CE, but those kept before 1533 CE have been lost. Modern technology has allowed the exact alignments to be imaged and recorded, as well as studied. What the fuck? Segments are divided by a thin white line unless they are aligned correctly, with the square directly adjacent to them. There are 22 correct alignments on the object's surface currently. See 25.090.090.04d unattached for complete current object alignment. D023016, 024016, 024015 is currently the only alignment of 3 adjacent segments on the surface of 90. B1000, B100023100024, 099024, 098024, and C043077, 042077, 042076, 042075 are the 4-segment alignments. There's also a 6-segment alignment, see document 090B for research notes involving alignment effects. Full item completion has been hypothesized to cause an unparalleled disaster to occur. What? Addendum AXA security level personnel should see document 90B. Document 90A Dr. Blank Blank experiment notes. Experiment 0012. Observation is going well. We have managed to develop a system to record and analyze the shifts in the cube almost as quickly as they occur. No correlation between shifts and any world event is. No correlation between shifts and any world events found yet. Experiment 0048. We observed a 6-segment alignment today on the first side. It was noted and passed without incident. 2 hours later, a research assistant returned from the break room with news that a tsunami had occurred in the Indian Ocean and caused hundreds of thousands of deaths and extensive property damage. No correlation is currently known, but we will make note of it. Synchronicity cube or something? Rubik's synchronicity cube? Experiment 0150. After a 1/20th alignment on the 4th side of the cube and 1/20th accident report in the lab, we designated the 4th side as local and will implement safety measures tomorrow. Staff are discouraged from making bets regarding the outcome of alignments, so this could be like a terraforming cube. Experiment 0172, a 6-segment alignment was recorded this morning on the local side. As a safety precaution, Site Double Blank was evacuated. 2 hours later, a containment breach occurred, but resulted in no loss of life due to the evacuation. Object determined to predict events, not cause them. First side designated as global. Upgrade to Euclid status requested. Experiment 0240. We stepped up our experiments today by attempting to modify the cube itself. When D-Class personnel Blank attempted to make a shift, 90 immediately created a 10-segment alignment of its own accord near the top left corner of the local side. Exactly 2 hours later, SCP Triple Blank broke containment and data expunged. Agents Blank and Blank were also lost during the incident. Recommend force shift testing of 90 postponed. Upgrade to Keter status approved, as 90 is obviously capable of causing events of its own accord. Object may be sentient. Well, that's fucked. Like Event Cube. Okay. Very cool. I'd like to see an image of this. Let's see if we can't find one really quick before we move on to the last one for the night. Hey, yeah, again, I hope you guys have been enjoying this so far. It's been a blast for me, for sure. Just looks like a Rubik's Cube, I guess. It has a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card? A Paco Rubik's Cube. Interesting name you chose for that. Well, that's cool. I guess 481 is related to this too? Yeah, there, the 481 in this is just completely unrelated. Cool. Somebody made a... what? What the fuck? Minecraft SCP, okay. Here's 096, we're gonna be checking this one out sooner or later. That one's in quite a few of the games as well. Oh yeah, that's all of the sequential ones for tonight. Let's check out 184. As I said, this is one of my favorites. The image caption just says SCP-184. And the image, dodecahedron.jpg, appears to depict indeed a dodecahedron with either reflective surface in the middle of the faces, or maybe it's see-through. And then all points on the dodecahedron also are circular metal blobs. In fact, the entire object appears to be made of metal. Although, oddly enough, some of the proportions are weird on the holes. It just appears to be a weathered, possibly like ancient Roman toy or something. Or just like a weird object of scientific intrigue from many, many years ago. It could be something from like the 1700s as well. It appears to be somewhat weathered. Metal, odd object. In the background is what appears to be maybe like a table, and then just a wallpapered wall. Or maybe the entire background is wallpaper. Nothing too crazy, there's a little bit of lighting or shadow. And yeah, just either a surface that is very blurry and unfocused, or like fucking 1970s wallpaper in the background. Aside from that, nothing really else anomalous. Alright, let's read this one. SCP-184, item number 184, object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. 184 is not to be contained in any structure. 184 is to be attached to a high-power electromagnet at all times. Should the electromagnet fail, agents are to report to 184's containment area and prevent access to all unauthorized personnel until the electromagnet is restored to power. The containment area for 184 is currently configured to resemble a park, with 184 and its containment magnet disguised as a statuary. Any and all visitors are to be monitored. Any structures affected by 184 are to be demolished after review by data expunged. This links to Codename The Truth. Codename blank blank The Truth. So yes, we do have a reference to what is the easiest way to hide the identity of 001. So this is a very meta SCP reference. But what? Don't classify it as 001. So I guess 184 is the Inceptor object. It is one of the very first SCP objects in terms of, like, brainfuck hierarchy, I guess. Final demolition, approval, or inclusion into SCP will also be determined by this body. No investigation is to be done into affected structures without approval and a rescue team on standby. Description: 184 is a small, smooth metallic object, 10 centimeters (4 inches) tall and 10 centimeters (4 inches) wide, in the shape of a dodecahedron. Each face of the figure has a circular hole in the center, and a small sphere is attached to each vertex. 184 is made of an unknown but highly magnetic alloy about as hard as brass. When inside an enclosed structure, 184 expands the structure's inner dimensions without altering its outer dimensions. So, there's your fucking Doctor Who TARDIS reference, bro. They stick this motherfucker inside of a police box. Give it like 5 minutes, it'll make a TARDIS. That was probably a loud clap. 184 will increase the inner dimensions of any enclosed structure by several hundred meters each day, beginning 1 hour after entry into the structure. Initially, 184 only extends the walls out, causing rooms to become much larger without adjusting the height of the room. This expansion continues until the original dimensions of the room have been tripled. At this point, 184 starts creating wholly new rooms. 184 is apparently able to copy items from inside the structure, creating furnished rooms consistent with the rest of the structure. After a period of time, however, the expansion process appears to break down. For example, items will be made from inappropriate materials, glass blocks, a wooden microwave. Rooms will be oddly shaped, doors will open into blank walls, and hallways will be tiny or twist back around in long mazes. The new inside structures continue to be more and more odd, while the outside remains unchanged. It's a fucking TARDIS seed. This behavior is most dramatically illustrated in homes. However, it has been observed in other instances, including a cardboard box. The changes do not go away with the removal of 184, but no additional structures are created. Addendum 1841, notes from Dr. Blank. I don't think I need to stress the fact that this thing can never be allowed into Site-19. We may need to look into different containment at some point, but for the time being we will keep it in the open, immovable and hidden. Addendum 1842, locations of interest. It is currently hypothesized that 184, or an anomaly with a similar effect, may be responsible for the creation of locations of interest, such as Backdoor Soho and Chugoku Cellar. So I'm not going to read these right now, but one of these is... what is it called? In China, there used to be a structure of buildings that became its own, like, meta city. Well, we'll scroll these really quick. Kowloon, the city of Kowloon, or at least the apartment city of Kowloon. One of these references that, and then the other I don't quite remember. But I have read both of these offshoot articles, and probably this one as well, seeing as how I remember it so well. Alright. Investigation into 184 as a potential origin for these spaces is ongoing. Addendum 18438RB, notes on recovery. 184 was recovered in the Kowloon walled city in June of quadruple blank. There you go, Kowloon walled city. Reports of the city's bizarre and explosive growth attracted operatives, who soon learned of 184, held in the possession of data expunged. After several police crackdowns, Mobile Task Force Zeta 9 was dispatched and recovered 184 with minimal losses. The final effect of exposure to 184 on both the city and inhabitants may never fully be understood due to the reckless actions of local law enforcement, which destroyed several affected sections of the city before operatives could take action to prevent it. Interviews with residents yielded minimal information, with a communal wall of silence being the major response. A few documents indicated that 184 could be brought into a home and allowed to affect the dwelling for £50 sterling per half hour. These documents were unconfirmed by residents. Addendum 18438RBS. Additional documentation. Personal log of Gordon Richards, member of Mobile Task Force Zeta 9, the Mole Rats. So yeah, this one, the personal log of Gordon Richards, I was a little confused a moment ago until I read that. This is like the meta Kowloon entry, I think. Yeah, dispatched to the Kowloon walled city. So yeah, I'm gonna skip those, but I might just read this one. Euclid featured metallic polyhedral spacetime. Codename blank blank the truth. So this is gonna be a long one, but this does tie into both 001, the Foundation as a whole, and 184. Let me just scroll this one really quick. I'm pretty sure I did earlier, but we might as well do it again, in case I missed it. Okay, got some sick, dank Metroid music, by the way. Sector 4, AQA, I'm going to that next in Metroid Fusion, so that's kind of funny I got this. What is the easiest way to hide the identity of 001? This would have been a perplexing question for the administrator who had conceived General Notice 001 Alpha. How do you hide the most important anomaly the Foundation ever has and ever will come across? How do you hide the creator of the 2,000 anomalies to follow? How do you hide the ultimate weapon? How do you hide the universe itself? How do you hide something worse? Like the identity of the administrator, the circumstances surrounding how they came to their final decision is shrouded in mystery and known by a select few. Regardless of whether the process was arduous or came in an epiphany, the outcome is evident for all to see and function precisely as planned. Several completely different files are present in the entry, preceded by a foreword stating that none, one, several, or all of these files were the true 001. The tactic worked as intended, with a myriad of conflicting explanations erupting and battling to prove that they were correct, but never having enough evidence to disprove the others. The others, bruv. The simplest conclusions were the most common, that there was no true 001, that it was simply a ploy utilized by the O5 Council to instill a sense of purpose into the staff of the Foundation, hiding the truth that these anomalies had no source or explanation, or that all the files were the true 001, that by some twist of fate they had devised a method of coexisting somehow. Through all of this, a reoccurring theme emerged. Very, very few thought outside of the box. Very few were able to realize the truth. Transcript of audio logs recovered from data expunged. Begin log, time, double blank, date, double blank, quadruple blank, Frank blank. Alright, this is Frank aboard the, what do we call this thing, David? David blank distant SCPS data expunge. Frank, SCPS data expunged, alright? This is, wait, really? They named it data expunged and we're gonna, whatever. This is Frank aboard the SCPS data expunged. Current time is data redacted, and we're about an hour from launch. I just want to preface reading the rest of this, by the way, by saying, I said the gears and the coffee machine are some of my all-time favorites. I think this is my absolute favorite. Either that, or maybe, we'll be coming across number 102, which seems kind of like a Doctor Who reference. It doesn't directly reference the Type 102 TARDIS, but it definitely feels like a Doctor Who TARDIS reference. But it has some, like, peepo ew moments, too, so that's why it's not, like, my actual number one. This one? Fuck, dude, this is a good-ass one. This is Frank aboard the SCPS data expunged. Current time is data expunged, or data redacted. We're about an hour from launch. The overseers have been getting these ships made for quite a while now, and it seems they've decided to send us out to take a look-see at those bits of the universe we can't see yet. I'm just a record keeper for this trip, so I figured it'd be handy to start my keeping prior to departure, you know, in case something happens. Anyway, might as well start with system reports. Reactor is fully functioning, weapons look good. Begin log, time, double blank, date, double blank, quadruple blank. Frank again. We're about to launch, and seeing as nobody's ever done this before, I figured some, like, fitting words would be a good idea. Frank pauses for 3 seconds. I got nothing. Shoot, I should have thought of this before. Frank pauses for 7 seconds. Now we travel to... A loud whining sound is heard, promptly followed by several objects colliding about the room. Frank produces heavily distorted vocalizations until the whining noise subsides! Jesus fucking Christ. I'm gonna read that one again. A loud whining sound is heard, promptly followed by several objects colliding about the room. Frank produces heavily distorted vocalizations until the whining noise subsides. I mean, how could I not include my favorite science fiction in this one? It's so related. Now we traveled blank. Wonder what that word was gonna be, huh? Anyway, that reference aside, Frank, muffled. Fucking asshats could have given us a warning before we left at least. Fucking ruined my speech, fucking fuck. End log, time, double blank. Begin log 0418 180000. So the 18th of January 2000. Frank, first and foremost, since we don't really know what the actual date is on Earth, we've adjusted all the clocks and dates and such so that we're counting up from when we launched. It's currently been 18 days, 4 hours, and 19 minutes since we launched. We're still traveling at max throttle, so there's not much to see outside other than darkness, since we're going faster than the speed of light. Much faster. But yeah, we recently passed... Hey David, what's the name of that place we just went past? Messy something? Yeah, but like the closest one? Pardon? David, distant. Messier 83! Frank. Alright, we've just gone past Messier 83, which is about 15 million light years from Earth. Talk about being far from home. David. Distant. You know, the O5s probably won't appreciate your stupid jokes. Frank. This is just note-keeping, not the finished log, sheesh. David can be a real hard-ass sometimes, though considering he spends most of his time fixing machines, it's kind of understandable. I'll make another log once something more significant happens. End log, double blank time. Begin log, 2318-2402-00. Frank here. It's been something like 2 months. Not much has happened other than that we have now passed GNZ11, so we're officially beyond the view of Earth's telescopes. Oh, and of course we've been taking photos as we went past. There's not much out here, but we can see a few small galaxies spread out here and there. The higher up researchers keep using the word gigaparsec, so that should give a fair idea of the distance between these things. They've also been mumbling about something seeming off about them, but other than that, I can't find out much. There's been quite a few cases of homesickness from the crew on board, but nothing that won't subside over time. Anywho, everything's holding together quite nicely, excluding the automatic cafeteria. Oi, David, you gonna fix the cafeteria, right? David, distant. No, because there's nothing wrong with it. Frank. But the paste tastes like shit. David, distant. It's fucking nutrient paste. It's supposed to taste like shit. Begin log 1437. 200300. Frank? Well, we found out what the researchers were uneased about. We're close enough to get a proper look at the nearest galaxy, and, well, it's a copy of the Milky Way. Not a perfect copy, mind you, there's a few stars absent, but the major identifying bodies are there. We're, planning on taking a look to see if Earth is there, and if it is, look for inhabitants. Ample to say, though, this might end up getting classified as an anomaly. Maybe not as a full-on SCP, but at least as an E-. Euclid? The chances of a replica galaxy forming are, well, slim to say the least. Oh, it's about to get fucking weird, bro. End log. Begin log 0648020400. Frank. This place is definitely an anomaly. First it was suspicion because of how similar it was to our home, but like far out, this is a whole new level of unnatural. On our way to the analog of Earth, we passed by a few of the missing stars, and found out they were actually there, just messed up beyond belief. How messed up? Try Epsilon Bootis Prime, Alpha, whatever the big one. It's made of ice cream. We took a sample, tastes like avocados and cigarette smoke apparently. The smaller one is a ball of liquid chlorophyll, somehow managing to keep itself together. Antares is just solid iodine, no fire and no iron, nothing. Just a colossal cold ball of iodine. Proxima Centauri is made of charcoal too. Then of course we actually got to Earth. Most of us Then of course we actually got to Earth. Most of us have taken to calling it subprime. It's just a giant ball of fuck-ups and errors. You can see it's Earth, all the continents are there and shaped right, but they're made of the wrong stuff. Australia's a solid block of gold, the oceans glow blue. The whole American continent is made of maple syrup. We're collecting as much information as we can, then we're shoving off to the next galaxy. This is just too freaky. This is when you accidentally load in, you're in the far lands in Minecraft and you load in like home coordinates chunks. You see part of your base just glitching through part of the adjacent Farlands chunks. You're like, oh shit, I fucked up. We're collecting as much information as we can, then we're shoving off to the next galaxy. This is just too freaky. In other news, it's come to light that Marie is pregnant. Nobody's asking many questions about it, especially because we aren't entirely sure it's her husband's child. So, yeah. End log. Begin log 0748020500. Frank. What the actual flying fuck? We've arrived at the next closest galaxy, and it's the same thing. Another screwed up copy of the Milky Way. Screwed up in different ways, mind you, but still basically the same thing as before. So my theory is that these are proto-Time Lords. They have created one of the first TARDISi, whatever, and instead of traversing time or space properly, they accidentally traversed the seed of the universe. So they're just moving between distances of seed Milky Way. And it's like fucking, I don't know, planet Earth is made of 173 type of shit. We've arrived at the next closest galaxy, and it's the same thing. Another screwed up copy of the Milky Way. Screwed up in different ways, mind you, but still basically the same thing as before. Mercury is made of ice. Jupiter is made of edible jelly. Earth looks like a Sarkic utopia. All of its flesh, bone, and blood. We've decided it's probably not best to approach in case it doesn't like machinery, but nonetheless. We're hoping it's just these two, but we're doubtful. What the hell is happening out here? End log. It's about to get more cursed. Begin log 1201 170500. Frank. Note to self. Bring more puzzles and toys on next trip. I've run out. Frank pauses for 4 seconds. I better put something worthwhile here. Crew are okay. We're coming to terms with the fact that the third galaxy we're going to arrive at looks like a repeat of the first two. There's nothing major about it, it's just freaky to think this same anomaly repeats itself as far as we can see. Oh, and there was an incident last week. Jonathan was fixing some strange mechanical fault lower down when something came loose and broke his arm. It's been fixed now, though, and the doctor said he'd be fine in a few weeks. He swears it shouldn't have happened, so there's some investigations happening. Nothing further I can think of. Do you remember anything I ain't? It is assumed that Frank was speaking to David, who responded with an inaudible or non-verbal response. Alright, ending log, end log. Begin log 0159070600. Frank, another copy of the Milky Way. Not a big surprise. Is this all that there is out here? Just endless copies of home, each more messed up than the previous? Frank pauses for 3 seconds. Earth was made of some sort of glass this time. Mars was made of dry ice. Uranus was horrifically magnetic. Almost got severely screwed over. Nothing to do but keep going. End log. Begin log 0000300800. Frank, 2 more. There's no way these places aren't part of the same anomaly somehow. Speaking of anomalies, there's shit tons of them out here. There's a whole galaxy we can't approach, always seeming distant. Another that the computers won't pick up at all, but we can rather clearly see. There's even been a few times when space itself has been talking to us. I'm not insane, we picked it up and narrowed it to certain pockets of space. There's other times when we suddenly don't have enough power and will drift for quite a distance before everything kicks back up again like nothing happened. Is the universe flat? Are we falling off the edge or something? Frank pauses for 4 seconds. Before I forget, Marie's been quarantined for some reason. We weren't able to get much from security, but it seems she's accidentally smuggled some disease onto the ship. Hope the baby is alright. End log. Begin log 0514101000. Frank. The most recent Earth, subprime 10 I think, it's got signs of human civilization. Specifically ours. There's like Las Vegas is there, made entirely of stacked poker chips and playing cards. New York is this one huge piece of a city and that looks like it's rather conveniently eroded to be identical to the New York back home. There's no humans, mind you, no signs of life at all. Considering the oceans are pure hydrogen cyanide, it's probably best that nothing evolved to survive that. Aren't we being copied if our homes are too? End log. Begin log 1605181100. Frank. Tokyo is made of seaweed and is located at the North Pole. America is made of a solid block of gunpowder, with Chicago being made of a giant carved mango. The sun is encompassed in a shell of chitin and is colonized by vast hordes of stone that shift and move whenever we stop looking at them. Weeping Angels reference? Shit! Mars is made of camel leather and a single raging immortal walks its surface. What? Uranus is nothing but a silent lattice of turning gears. Uranus, whatever. Uranus is nothing but a silent lattice of turning gears, lol. God damn it, I had to do it. There's nothing out here but chaos and anarchy. We're doing a loop to head back home. Security around Marie has been beefed up. 20 guards all armed to the teeth with assault rifles and grenades? What sort of disease is she contracted? End log. Begin log 2317 231200. We've already listened to this one, otherwise I'd just go with it. David, fuck. This is David. Frank is dead along with most of the crew. Marie gave birth to some fucked up eldritch horror that's been running around and killing everyone it can. I don't think security can handle it. All the fucking times for something like this, fuck. Wherever this place is, keep away. It's a cesspool of anomalies. There's nothing out here but shit replicas of our galaxy, and it just keeps going and going and going. Whatever this place is made of, it sure as hell isn't reality. It just keeps expanding, growing more and more. David pauses for 2 seconds. Of course. Why wouldn't it with data expunged outside? Did the overseers already know what we would find? Or did they just want it confirmed? End log. Begin log 0202-140301. David. Cafeteria is busted, only spits out rat poison. We're not gonna make it, but the ship will. I don't think we went far enough for the ship to get warped too badly. We haven't seen any other anomalies on board, other than the cafeteria fault. David pauses for 4 seconds. Please tell my family I love them. End log. Begin log. Time 0000. Date 000000. The audio in the log is assumed to be automated, as it is entirely comprised of fragments of audio used in previous logs. Changes in audio are denoted by line breaks. Frank. This is Frank. Aboard the SCPS data expunged. We've adjusted all the clocks and dates and such so that we're counting up from now, since we don't really know what the actual date is on Earth. First and foremost, the crew on board is fully functioning. We're going faster than max throttle. Much faster. Everything's holding together quite nicely. There's been quite a few cases of homesickness from the crew on board. We're doing a loop to head back home. There's not much out here, just endless copies of home, each more messed up than the previous. There's no humans, mind you. You remember anything I ain't? Oh, right. Oh, there was an incident last week. It's been fixed now, though. Crew are okay. Nothing that won't subside over time. Anywhom, everything's okay. Everything's alright. I'm not insane. Right? David, of course. David, distance. There's nothing wrong. Frank, anyway, we're coming to Messier 83. Talk about being far from home. So, yeah, end log. The information collected and the names listed would never see the light of day. It would have been sent directly to the highest echelons of the Foundation who listened, considered, and acted. It wouldn't have taken a genius to connect the implications between the facts and the records, so every bit of it was expunged or redacted so that the administrator's efforts would not be in vain. It would have been as though the expedition never happened, as though it was simply an anomaly that appeared unexpectedly. The information would never be seen by a human eye again until it was once more unveiled by fate, buried simply to hide the truth. What is the easiest way to hide the identity of 001, the architect of the universe and its infinite hordes of flaws? Don't classify it as SCP-001. Tail, the administrator. So yeah, this dodecahedron not only expands and insanityifies the logic of reality, but it reached a point where it was exposed to the outside world, probably before it was even discovered, and basically generated the insanity that is the universe. So I guess these guys took this into a police box, May the TARDIS decided to traverse the universe, space-time, and just, again, type 0 TARDIS, type 1 TARDIS. They probably didn't get what they expected, which was reality's seed, fucking morphing as they traveled. But yeah, that's gonna do it for tonight. We did a long stream tonight. Shout out to Funky Fam. Shout out to everybody that dropped by and enjoyed this with me. And yeah, I'm really glad we got to read this one as well as the sequential stuff. What did we read tonight, by the way? What's the names of everything? So we started on 81. 81. Spontaneous combustion virus. Fernand the Cannibal. An abandoned row home. Static tower. Hand-drawn Cassie. The office of Dr. Redacted. The stairwell. The Lizard King. Tophet. A Paco Rubik's Cube. Okay. And then, what was 184? The Architect. So yeah, that's going to end it for me tonight. Appreciate y'all stopping by for reading the SCP Wiki, for Omori, and for a little bit of Oracle of Ages. And yeah, like I said, that's going to do it for me tonight. I'm tired. I need to eat dinner. And I think it's about time to sign off. So yeah, go ahead and drop a follow on the Twitch channel. And I'm going to go ahead and post the social media links in the chat in just a second. So yeah, follow the Twitch. Go subscribe to the main edited videos YouTube channel. Go subscribe to the VOD backup archive channel on YouTube. Follow the Twitter. Join the Discord. You can find those links in the About section on Twitch as well as the About section on YouTube. If you don't see the Twitch chat, yeah, drop the follows, the subscriptions, join the Discord, etc. And yeah, that's going to do it for me, homies. Again, I hope you enjoyed. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.